We might be live. I have no idea. I'm waiting for YouTube to tell me I'm live.
Let's see.
Hey, I think we're live. I don't know, chat. Say something if you can see me. There's always a little delay with YouTube. Think we're good.
Good?
I think so. Yeah, people are saying hi to you right now in my chat. So yeah.
Sweet. Good morning, everybody. It's 5:17 a.m. here in Phoenix.
Heck yeah. It's 7:17 a.m. here, and the direct's in 102 minutes, according to Nintendo. So I hope you guys are excited today, man. We have 2 directs in the next week. That's always exciting. Today's direct, whoo-wee. This is gonna be a fun one. Force Fanatic, how could I tell work you're gonna be 30 minutes late? I don't know. My car broke down. I don't know. I'm gonna admit there were some excuses I used to use when I was younger. I'm not sure if those excuses will fly today.
Right.
Good morning, Michael J. How you guys doing? Dude, you're an Arlo. I think what you mean is, dude, Thunderstaff was mentioned on Arlo.
Yeah, that's cool.
Topic Arlo channel, yeah. Oh, what's the time with you gents in the US? Well, it is 5:18 for Stash and 7:18 for me. Of course, what you guys don't know is we're up at these times anyways.
Every day.
Literally.
Up between 4 and 4:30.
You overslept, Anthony Cat? Well, as long as you're here before the direct, that's all that really matters, right? Right? All right, guys. So today we obviously have the Nintendo Switch 1 Nintendo Direct. We briefly on our podcast yesterday went over some of our predictions, just some quick ones, because podcast was already kind of running a little bit later than we planned, but then we also kind of knew that was going to happen because they announced the direct. So who knows? We were on pace for our 2.5 hours until they announced the direct. That was like, all right, well, it is what it is. So, Stash. We kept it brief yesterday. We don't have to keep it brief now. We got like 2 hours, hour and 40 minutes to talk here.
Yeah.
What the hell do you think is happening today?
Well, I wore my Metroid shirt today, everyone. Let me zoom out for you. It's the Super Famicom box art here. And wore it for a reason, of course, because I've been long expecting Metroid. When we were talking about the Nintendo Directs at the end of 2024, we're talking about the February Direct. And I think we had both always been on board that 100% the February Direct should happen. Will it happen in February? Who knows? Historically, yes, there's a precedence for it to happen in February. But the point is, I think we both believe, Nate, that it needs to happen because you got to set the table for over 55 million about Nintendo Switch users, right? Because they're not all going to buy Switch 2 on day one. You got people to serve right now. You got people at your house that are hungry and want to eat. You got to set the table for them. And as of right now, the table's only set for a day in the past. That's March 20th. That was Xenoblade. And so it always made sense for this to happen. And I mentioned last night on the podcast too, that we had all discussed, like, if February comes and goes, do we think that's it? And Nate, you even mentioned, I watched it too. I actually went back because I'm pretty sure I said I wouldn't be surprised if we had a direct a week before the Switch 2 direct. But you even said it too, Nate, about March. The March isn't off the table. Just because it didn't happen before doesn't mean it won't happen. Because in all reality, it should happen. And so we're getting what we should get. And I think this makes sense. And there's been some talk about the timing of it, in that whatever we see here today, Nintendo wants what we see today to be fresh in our minds on April 2nd. In that, like a comparison, almost like, hey, we might see a Switch 1 game, right? Today. And then we might see a Switch 2 game on April 2nd, a forward compatible game, right? That is going to run better possibly on Switch 2. And they do it so close together because they want it to be fresh in your mind so you can see the difference. And I think there's a lot of sense to be made there. What do you think about that?
I think that there's definitely some logic there. I got, two ways I think about this Direct is either they're trying to do something that kind of sets up the Switch 2 Direct and there's just a good vibe in general, or Nintendo's just saying, screw it. We're treating them as two completely different things. And we just want Switch 1 owners to know that no matter what happens next week, you guys got stuff coming your way. It's actually interesting because and some people in the chat, I noticed have already brought this up. We've had a couple interesting developments overnight here while we were sleeping, such as this happening with Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Redo Collection possibly to appear at the Nintendo Direct today. It's posted by someone over on Reset Era. Pretty
nice.
We had this one brought up where Neil Broadley, the Saga franchise localization director, retweeted the Direct. So could we be seeing some Saga today? Possibility there. This is one they just straight up said this is going to be in the Direct, and this is from a really big person in the Smash community. You got Hungry Box saying that Smash Ultimate Deluxe is coming in the Direct today, which is interesting because I assume that's just Smash Ultimate with all the DLC, right? I don't know. That's not an exciting announcement to me. just to be honest. Unless there's new content, it doesn't excite me. Because it's just the game we already have.
What does that say though for Switch 2 and Smash? If they're releasing a retail like Smash with everything a week before Switch 2 is announced, does that mean, is like hypothetically, if that was announced today, I would expect to hear something next week about that, about it being in some way, shape, or form forwards compatible to where it will run better on Switch 2. And this is kind of like what we're giving you until we have Smash ready. The new Smash, right? Like the actual new one. A la Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I mean, look, if it's announced today, that's it's weird to me that it would be a Switch 1 announcement. Because look, it's one of the best selling games on Switch. We already know this. So most people that want Smash already have it and already have the DLC. This would be to me like releasing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Ultimate right now, which includes all the DLC they added, right? Because they don't have a version of the game that includes all the DLC. So it'd be like, well, why would you release that at this point in the console's life when everybody already has Mario Kart? Well, everyone who wants Smash already has it. So it's a little weird. Like this could be something I could have saw in a Switch 2 Direct.
Yeah.
Where they're like, hey, here's the tide me over till the next Smash is ready. But look, it's right on the screen. Hungry Box is saying this is happening today for Switch 1. And I find that to be interesting because I don't know there's an audience for this on Switch 1. Some people are going to buy it, of course, especially if it's physical because collect it and all that. That's cool.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, right. But I don't, and he says you won't say any more in case Nintendo's ninjas me. I mean, when you just hear Ultimate Deluxe, you just assume it's all the DLC. But when he says I won't say any more, it's like, well, okay. Is there more to this than just the current content? Because that's where it gets exciting. If it's like, hey, actually, we tossed in 5 new fighters and 5 new stages. Oh, well, that's insane. So what about the next Smash? And that's that's the question that comes up. Like, what about the next Smash? I think that this. I'm going to be honest. I think that this isn't going to be like there's not going to be a Switch 2 version of this. I think it's just going to be there for people who buy Switch 2 through backwards compatibility, just so they have some sort of Smash that you can play. But it's not intended to be a Switch 2 Smash. I think it's just because there's backwards compatibility. So there could be. We talked about yesterday how there could be upgrades, right? On Switch 2 for Switch 1 games.
Yeah.
Well, just simplify it for Switch 2 owners and be like, well, there's this one Smash with everything you can buy that will just be DLSS or something upscaled on Switch 2 because Smash isn't going to be ready for another year or something like that. Or who really knows? Or this is fake, and the guy who runs Team Liquid doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
So let me ask you this: if it's what you just described and what I described about, hey, maybe we're gonna get this Smash Ultimate Deluxe, and it's gonna take advantage of Switch 2's DLSS power, right? We're gonna get an upscaled version to hold us over, something to that effect. Would you be happy with that?
Yeah. Well, for starters, guys, for those who don't know, I'm not the biggest Smash guy. Okay, so I buy it every time because I like the characters and stuff, but I'm not that big into fighting games. So would I be happy or not? I kind of view it as I don't really care what they do with Smash. This is like the least exciting thing I've heard of them. Like at all, no matter what they're doing with it. Obviously, some people thought that and this would support this thought for some people that Nintendo was just not going to do a new Smash on Switch 2, and they would just do something like this, and then just have another fighter pass or something. And that's entirely possible. That would also scare me a little bit because that would mean that Nintendo and Sakurai really don't know what to do with the future of the franchise. If you're just going to run Ultimate again for another 8 years.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? If we say it's to hold us over and we accept that, we're like, and we're good with that, hypothetically. The only thing is that we just saw this happen with Mario Kart. It was Mario Kart Deluxe was supposed to just be there for a very short period to hold us over until the actual Mario Kart's ready for Switch.
Yep.
And then 8 years passed.
We'll see.
So what would happen? Well, I mean, hypothetically, say that did happen again, and just like with Mario Kart, though,
I don't want it to happen again.
With the booster pass, you get all all these extra characters and stages now.
Yeah. I just don't want this to happen. But hey, you know what? We also talked briefly yesterday how Sakurai retweeted the thing. This could be why he retweeted it, because Smash Bros is getting a Ultimate Deluxe version. We have some breaking news, by the way. This is something that we all kind of figured, but now we have confirmation. As Corey Bone super chatted in, it's confirmed that Switch 2 pre-orders begin on April 2nd. We know this because it's officially announced by Best Buy.
Oh, shoot.
So this is broken on the blog, Best Buy in Canada. It says Nintendo Switch 2 Direct set for April 2nd, how to watch and pre-order. And if you get down to the point here, it says pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 will open on April 2nd at Best Buy Canada. So there you go. Pre-orders will be happening April 2nd. I mean, it's going to be a madhouse because now the whole world knows. So you guys, look, if you're trying to do in-person pre-orders, watch the Direct in the parking lots. Is what it is. That's what you're going to have to do. If you're doing online, you're like a lot of us, just fighting online. I might even still be live while the pre-orders are going on that day. So I'll be sitting here live, scrambling to pre-order as much as I can online.
Hey,
it's going to be wild.
Jake Randall.
Don't be surprised if in the middle or after the Direct stream, I immediately flip what you're seeing on screen over to Jake Randall as we're all trying to pre-order at the same time.
Might not be a bad idea. I mean, that's one way to really try and set everyone up for success, right?
Yeah.
Just force them over to Jake.
I mean, because the bottom line is I'm not going to get to a GameStop anywhere after the Direct before it's already the pre-orders are all gone. And most stores won't do in person. They do online. So you can do online for in-person pickup. That's fine. But a lot of these days it's all online. So Get ready for the madhouse on April 2nd, guys. Get ready. That's big news.
So this morning on Twitter, I woke up. I do what I always do. I type in Paul, P-A-U. Paul comes up, make sure his video's up, retweet that baby, and do a quick little scroll. But I didn't have much time this morning because I'm like, I gotta get ready. I gotta get some caffeine in me. I'll be ready to roll. So I scrolled for maybe a minute, and this Twitter account, Switch 2, you probably follow them, Switch 2, like fan stock or something, Switch 2 stock. They posted that the pre-orders were going to go live April 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I retweeted it because I clicked on the link and I saw it was on Tom's guide, and there was another source, and I'm like, this actually seems legit. This seems good. So now that you mention Best Buy,
Yeah, I mean,
and thank you, Corey,
straight up announcing it. So we already expected this, by the way. This isn't unexpected. This is what they did with the Switch. It's what happens with a lot of the other platforms. The same day they do the big showcase, the same day the pre-orders go up, because they usually announce the release date that day. And we knew the Switch 2 hands-on experience was 2 days after. So we knew Nintendo's moving pretty quick with the marketing on this. So yeah, that's what I expected. I'm debating on how badly I need to get my parents to take my niece and nephew so I could tell Yulia, just in case, I need you to go stand by GameStop and wait for them to open. So you can get at least one pre-order in at GameStop. But we'll see, because guys, you know what I want to do? I want to do in-person midnight launch stuff, but like so few places do that anymore. So that's why I even said, like, if I don't, because the only way that's going to happen is if I get a pre-order at a GameStop that isn't in the mall, and the nearest one for me that's like an hour away. So it's probably not going to happen, because again, I got a job to do. I got to stream the actual direct. I'm not skipping streaming the direct. So I'll be fighting online, and then I might be doing a special where I talked about this before. We'll go to Walmart. They don't take pre-orders in person. They just have units available in person. Camp out. Have the popo yell at me a little bit for being in their parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun though. Like, this is an experience. Camping out is an experience. It's something you got to commit to, and you got to be prepared for. You got to pack correctly for camping out for a console.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've talked about this so many times, but I had easily some of like my best gaming experiences camping out for a console, meeting like-minded people, fans that are excited that, play the same games you do, or maybe they play something else and they talk you into playing something you haven't played before. Point is that you meet a lot of really nice people, and the energy is always just so positive and so contagious because everyone's just excited. It's literally this. It's our podcast, but live in person with everybody. So of course the energy is going to be great. Everyone's feeling good, and we're all just like looking forward to having that console in our hands. And I would advise anybody, if you're thinking about camping out, just do it. It's fun. It's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it.
Yeah, in worst case scenario, like if you live in a really small town and you're the only ones that, bring a friend. Make it fun. Bring your Switches, right?
Always.
Have a blast. You happen to have a mini projector, bring that. See if you can get away with projecting onto the building or something. And it's just there's a lot of fun with midnight launches. It sucks because Walmarts aren't 24 hours anymore since COVID. That was one thing that was
shame.
That was really neat, because you used to be able to go to Walmart, and even though it would be in person, you could wait in the store in the electronics section. Yeah. They'd have you form a line there. And then if the line got too long, they would literally go back and count, hey, we only have like 5. So there's no point for this back of the line to be here. So that's a shame. I know Best Buy doesn't really do midnight launches, so you just aren't open.
Sadly.
Yeah, the only place left that I can even think of a major retailers. I'm not saying like if you have like a local game store that is going to get units, they might do midnight launches. Obviously, I can't determine if those local stores will. I mean, I'll call. We have one mom and pop shop. Usually, they don't get them at launch, but I'll call them and just see. Hey, are you guys planning to have them this time at launch? Because mom and pop shops will definitely do midnight launches if they get units. But usually, they only go to major retail at launch. And that means GameStop's kind of like the last bastion for midnight launches. And I don't know if GameStop's going to be around for Nintendo's next system. So,
you mean the one after this?
Yeah, the one after this one. This
I
might be
don't
like
know
the
if they will
last
either.
Nintendo platform that you can get a midnight launch at all in the US.
Yeah, I was actually talking to one of my friends about that just a couple of days ago, and just kind of about GameStop and their trajectory there. And I think one of the comments too on my YouTube, we were talking about it, and it's interesting because obviously, like GameStop selling digital codes, and I see a scenario, like I see a path there, but I just don't know how viable that's going to be because it's like, yeah, if you're strapped for cash, you can go trade in your physical goods, get store credit, and then buy a digital code.
Yeah.
That is a way to do it without dealing with eBay, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp. Although I would always suggest those because you're going to get more money. And if you're young, if you're a younger kid, talk to your parents. You know, they might have bought you the game. They might have spent $65 with tax. You know, hey mom, dad, do you want me to give this to GameStop for $10.50? I think we can probably get 30 for it, maybe even 35 because I kept it in perfect condition. I got the box and everything. Do we want to do that on eBay or should we go to GameStop? I mean, I don't know, Nate. You're a parent.
Yep.
And you know what your time schedule looks like. Me on the outside looking in, as I don't have kids, but God, if my kid said that to me, I'd be like, I'd be proud. I'd be like, this is awesome, man. Yeah, you know what? It's going to take more time, but let's do it because you're thinking right. Like I want you to think like this is an adult too. This is great.
Yeah, no, if one of my kids said that to me, one, I'd be like, you kept it in perfect condition. I'm calling bullshit. Let me see this thing.
Yeah.
Because kids don't keep anything in perfect condition. That being said, if that was the case, I'd be like, all right, let me look up the values. All right, give me the games. I'll list them. When you need the money by? Oh, tomorrow. Look, I will cover the value of these games because I'll take care of reselling them and I'll just put the money back in my bank. Don't worry about it. That's what I would do if a kid approached me and was being smart about it. Unfortunately, today a lot of kids aren't that way, and most kids kind of go digital these days. That being said, my kids have some physical games. If they tell me, Dad, you got all the little Switch 2 pre-orders, well, I want a Switch 2. Well, what do you got? I got my Switch. Look, if you want me to sell your Switch and your games and pay for Switch 2, it's up to you. We can go to GameStop right now. They'll give you probably like $50. Or I might be a couple hundred selling this stuff online. So maybe you won't have Switch 2 day one, but you can have it first month. You know, I'll fight for you to get it first month if we can get the money together. So yeah, I would be proud of my kids if they did, especially if they said they had like near mint condition. I'd be like, okay. Is it because you never opened it?
Right.
It's like if it's unopened, I don't know if you should really sell that right now. You might want to hold on to that to you're an adult. That could be worth significantly more money at that point.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's gonna be wild on Tuesday. By the way, this announcement that pre-orders are on Tuesday is literally it's what everyone expected because it's what happens every time. It's gonna be right when the direct ends. Pre-orders are gonna be live. That's just how it is. That's why I said there's no way in hell I'm personally gonna get to a GameStop because I'm streaming. I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be with you guys. So That's why I said, like, I was thinking about, what do we do for the post show on April 2nd? Well, the post show is going to be, we're restreaming out Jake Randall while I'm trying to go online and get things pre-ordered. And I'll give the same tips. I'm gonna have to make a video on this today. It gave some of the same tips that I'm going to give in the video, and it's very basic. Have all your accounts set up on all the websites. Have your payment information, your shipping information already. And I know some people don't like saving their payment information to these websites, especially with how often they get hacked. I totally get it, but if you don't do it, you're not getting it. Not day one, because there'll be millions of others that have, and all the bots already have done it. The bots are already pre-set up with shipping and payment information. You need to at least be on equal ground with them, and if you're not, then you have no shot. Even if they require NSO accounts, let's say they require NSO accounts to pre-order, doesn't matter. You think the people with the bots haven't already thought ahead on that? NSO accounts are free to make. They're free to make. Oh, well, subscription. They got to pay money. Yeah, okay. You don't think they just bought a family membership and boom, that's 8 bots that can run right there? These are professionals. The people that use these bots, that's how they make a living. Literally. They buy all stuff and resell it. This is a huge thing in the US. It happens all the time. So especially if you're in the United States, yeah, you got to make sure you're on equal footing with the people trying to scalp. So you got to have your payment information. You got to have everything ready to go. And sometimes even when you go to pay, it'll be like, oh, can you retype in your CVV? Hey, have that shit ready to go. Like just in your mind, memorized.
Yep.
Ready to type it in because you're going to have to be quick. I know Furukawa said, hey, we're going to answer scalping by just having ample supply. It's a nice idea on paper. A lot different to execute it. And if you're talking day one, I mean, ample supply could just mean there'll be regular restocks every few days. That's cool. That's what I want to happen. But still, usually the restocks, you can't pre-order restocks. They're just gone when they happen. So be ready, guys. April 2nd is going to be wild. Absolutely wild. I appreciate that Best Buy just decided to say, fuck it. We already know it's April 2nd. We're just going to officially put it out there because maybe they even want to let consumers know, hey, we don't want this to be a surprise on Tuesday because it won't be a surprise for the bot people and the scalpers. They're already ready. So consumers, be ready. Like, have those. Like, I'll tell you right now, even if you're not going to get an in-person pre-order, which I understand, not a lot of stores do that besides GameStop. Another thing is, on April 2nd, if you're going to be like most people fighting for online pre-orders, be at a computer, have the direct over on one part, have all your tabs ready at the retailers on the other, because there's going to be a retailer that jumps the gun during the direct and it's already live.
Always
happens every time. So like, these are just my general tips. Like you want to be at a computer or a laptop. If you have multiple monitors that you can hook up, that's even better. The more you can have going all the time. I think there's even ways to set up automatic F5 refreshes on websites, I believe, as well.
Right.
That you'll have to Google. I can't remember how to do it because I'm going to have that set up on my end. I'm going to have one of my monitors is going to be nothing but pre-order stuff. Just keep hoping. And by the way, a lot of the pre-order pages are already up. Like the pages already exist on these websites. You can find the Switch 2 listing on Target, Walmart, Best Buy. Amazon doesn't. I don't think have it up yet. But
Andrew made a good point there. That's something I always do too. I'm sure you do too, Nate. Yeah. If the more devices you have, the better. Like if you have a desktop and a laptop, and obviously your phone, you got 3 devices right there.
Yeah.
And literally just set them up in front of you and refresh.
Yep. Yeah, and not just having the different devices. He even mentions the different networks. You'd be shocked how like you could be on your cell phone network that's slower than your ISP, but somehow that got through while your one on your ISP didn't. So yeah, I absolutely have the ready to go. The apps on your phone. Sometimes those are quick, sometimes not. If most people only have like the one internet network, that's fine. But if you have a cell phone, you could tether. Now you get 2. Now you get 2 networks. So, because I'm telling you, all the people that scalp are doing all of this, and it's all automated for them. This is what they do. But in Furukawa's ideal world, there's like 10 million day one, and it's impossible for scalpers to buy them all. but I don't know that that's realistically what's gonna happen day one. So yeah, I mean, I gotta get 5 of them. Right now,
I
I'm thinking
know.
I'll be lucky if I get one, but I'm gonna be trying. The money's ready. We're gonna be trying to get all 5. We're still doing my Switch 2 giveaways and stuff. That happens anyways. Because my only concern would be I don't get a single pre-order in, and the only way I'm getting day one is paying a scalper, which is not anything I am interested in doing.
Never ideal.
Never ideal. Now I'm not, guys, for the giveaway ones and stuff. I'm not paying a scalper. I would feel so guilty paying a scalper for a giveaway item. No, I'll just wait till I can give them on a restock. But guys, we'll be using Jake Randall a lot because he's a pro at this. He's already messaged me privately. Like, hey, I know you need 5 of them. I got you. I'm like, cool. So, because maybe he's even going to try to get some extra pre-orders in for me, and I'll just pay him. Whatever the case might be, it's going to be wild, man. So Tuesday next week, wild. Get ready. Have your wallets ready. If you don't have the money ready yet, it's fine. You don't have to be a day oneer. I will say this. Because of my job, I have to be day one. Also, because I'm just a mega Nintendo fan, I'm going to be day one. But I would say a lot of consumers out there, day one isn't always advantageous. Consoles can have problems day one, unforeseen problems that are only seen on a mass level. Things like we had, I'm trying to think, even with Switch, we had Bendgate, which was where one of the factories, when they released the dock, it had a slight curve in it. And when you put your Switch in dock mode and was playing Breath of the Wild, for a few hours, it got so hot, it actually bent your Switch and started making it look like a smile. That was an issue with some, not all, but some day one Switches. Also, day one Switches, Nintendo didn't realize that like people are going to take it in and out of the dock a lot. I don't know how they didn't realize that. So it was just hard plastic and it would scratch the screen. So people were getting a lot of screen scratches that first month. They later fixed that and put some pads in there. But these are like, granted, for issues with a console launch, this is pretty minimal compared to something like the Red Ring of Death. And systems bricking, or I think, was it PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4? One of them had the thumbsticks cracking. The rubber on the thumbsticks would crack and come off.
Yeah. I don't remember if that was PS4 or 5. I got a PS5. Mine's a day oneer, and I haven't had any issues with it, but
yeah. And the issues we're talking about, like, this doesn't happen to everyone. The Red Ring of Death was a little special. That was like everyone. They had a design flaw with the cooling on the system. They did fix it by the time I got the Xbox Elite out, or was it the Slim? One of the two they fixed the problem with. But anyway, so so sometimes people just want to avoid because of that. Also, and I always say this, there is something special about having a console day one. I love it. But if you don't have the money for it, don't worry about it. You shouldn't really buy a platform till it has enough games on it to justify your purchase. Like, if you know you're going to get Mario Kart, but you're not like, oh, I have to play it now. I can wait. Okay, well, maybe you wait till the 3D Mario drops or something else. Like, I always feel like for general consumers, make sure there's enough games to make it worth spending $400 for you to play it. And I'm not going to say the games are going to be cheaper because we're talking about Nintendo. The games are absolutely not going to drop in price. So,
so you don't think Nintendo Selects are coming for Switch One?
I mean, that might happen, maybe. But like, if you already have a Switch One, you can just play them on Switch One.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that front. I'm just really excited that we now know when pre-orders are happening for sure. There's no more guesswork. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be right when the direct ends. And I just hope everyone gets what they want. And if you're gonna wait, that's okay. As we've been through many console launches, sometimes it's easier to get it on the restock than the pre-order. Because sometimes the restock's literally 2 days later. Sometimes even the next day I've seen where they've prepared for, here's all we have for pre-orders, and we're having a new shipment arrive the very next day. One thing to check too is if you can't get a pre-order in and you're not going to be able to camp out at Walmart or whatever, because sometimes it's dangerous in some towns and areas, just call them and ask them if they know already when the next shipment's coming in. Because not everyone's going to call and check when Walmart, when GameStop are getting restocked. They already know. The orders are already in. It's already in their system. They know when the first restock's coming, the second restock. So just, ask them sometimes they're very regular. Sometimes it's every Wednesday or every Friday. And then, hey, then just go to the stores in the morning that day. If you want to camp out still, yeah, I guess you can. I mean, look, if it's sold out, they had like a launch of 6 million and they all sold out. Yeah, then I would say camp out because everyone's gonna want it. It's gonna be worse than the Wii. Good luck. I mean, PS5 was probably worse because of COVID because it was all online only.
So that was tough. I had to push my order through with Walmart multiple. I'm talking like 30 times, okay? At least, right? Because it kept timing out. And then it finally went through. And guys, I'm telling you, my thought was that like you had that sinking feeling. Like I don't want to celebrate, right? Too early kind of thing because I might get an email, in the next few hours or even in the next few weeks because people were getting emails from Walmart saying that your order's canceled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I'm probably going to be one of them, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how I got through. I willed that. Here's the thing though. Not only did I get it day one, but I got it for store pickup. And nobody I know did. And my Walmart literally like I'm in my office right now. It's right across the highway, right across the mountain. It's right there. And they even told me that like you're the only one who got a physical PS5. And dude, I was nervous about if it was even going to be there, right? Like, do they actually have this here? And if it is here, God, I hope no one I hope no employee says, screw
No.
it, I don't care about this job and just takes it.
Yeah,
You,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't believe I got it. I had this was when I was still a director at Loan Depot, and obviously I took a PTO day. I I always had like just stacks. Like when I left Loan Depot, I cashed in 8 weeks of PTO.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I never used it, right? But I used it for pretty much video game related stuff. But let me
Priority.
tell you, man, it was so much fun. It's special to have the console on day one and just have everything done, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever needs to be done that's important in life. You got bills to pay. You got chores to do. You got a house to clean. You got a project that you know, only did half of it and you walk by it every day and you
Mhm.
look at it, but you
Looking
don't
forward.
do anything. Get all that stuff done because when you do, it's that much more enjoyable because you're not thinking about everything else that you have to do or maybe you should be doing. You can just enjoy it. That's the best way to enjoy a launch. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, getting everything out of the way because we all procrastinate. Happens to everyone.
Yep.
There's very few people out there that never procrastinate. I give an example. All four of my doors upstairs and the hallway for the bedrooms and the bathroom need to be replaced. They just need to be done. They're broken. They don't stay
Yeah.
shut. Yeah, I've been putting it off. No, I will not put it off before Switch 2 comes out. It will be done before then because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about the stuff like laundry. We've already got all caught up on laundry. And I told Yulia, we're keeping this way because I don't want to have Switch 2 come. I'm playing it. Making content. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, I probably should go do the laundry. I probably should go do this. Probably should go do that.
Yeah.
I should, yeah. I want everything done, which is easier to say, when you have kids because they're going to keep making sure you have more stuff to take care of. But seriously,
Exactly.
getting the burden off you so you can play guilt-free gaming, take your day off if you guys got PTO or whatever, make it a 3-4 day weekend for launch. Have a blast. That's the way to really do it. We got some super chats here. Nerdy said Mario Galaxy 2 not showing up on their YouTube. Well, I mean, nothing should be on their YouTube yet.
Yeah.
I think we said this last night. Something like that, we probably don't expect to be announced till like September if it does come for the actual anniversary.
Yeah. It makes more sense for Galaxy 2 HD to release Possibly around the same time as the 3D Mario on Switch 2. That way everyone gets to eat. Everyone gets a slice of cake for Mario's 40th, so to speak.
Yeah. We had a $5 one coming from Hal Bastion. Says, I'm really curious if this will be like the PlayStation 2, where the Switch 2 is exponentially more popular than the Switch 1, which was crazy to think about. I think, and analysts have put this out there, that the expectation is this is going to be the greatest, the biggest launch ever, and then the biggest 12-month sales ever, like first 12 months. I mean, the projections are all 20 million plus. Never been done before. So it's going to feel at launch like it's more popular than Switch 1 because the demand is going to be insane. However, exponentially more popular than the original Switch 1, as in like PS2, where it went on to sell 160 million compared to the PlayStation 1 that did 100 million. I don't know that's going to happen. Like, I don't want to. It's hard to imagine Switch 2 outselling Switch 1 overall, long haul. I think coming out the gates, it'll be on fire. I think it's gonna be the fastest system Nintendo's ever had to get to 100 million. I think they're gonna breathe. 4 years from now, I think it'll be at 100 million. But then I think it might slow down after that. I could be wrong, and maybe for the next 4 years after that, it sells another 100 million. If it does, then Nintendo delivered the goods and the AAA stopped fucking around and got their shit together.
Yeah, there's a scenario where Switch 2 could outsell Switch 1. And it's basically what you just said in a nutshell. Nintendo continues to deliver the goods and the third parties show up in full force, which they didn't on Switch 1. They showed up. There was a lot of great third-party games, but if they show up the way we expect them to, like a lot of the games we talked about last night that we expect, I really, truly expect them. And I mean, just think about it. Like, we know Microsoft is going to show up in full force.
Absolutely.
You know, again, I remind everyone, go look at all the developers Microsoft has bought. That is a massive umbrella. Okay. Yeah. And then go look at all the IPs now that they own. Like that these companies own. It's insane. And so right there, that's a lot. Like that's a ton of games that I expect to come to Switch 2. But everyone else is too, man. It's, again, there's a path for all of this. It could happen. Historically, does it happen? No. Historically,
it sells less.
It does. And
almost half as much. If you think about it, like DS, 155 million, 75 million for 3DS. And even set that aside, PlayStation themselves, PS2, 160, PS3, 80 million. So historically, you sell half as much, which for Nintendo would probably still be pretty good.
It would.
But because they don't always sell up there. But then that also puts it in 3DS territory. And I think Nintendo's thinking this is a 100 mil plus seller again. And here's the thing. The one thing that's different from those past scenarios is, like, for Nintendo specifically, like 3DS, from DS, one, I think Switch 2 is just a much better name than 3DS for consumer purposes anyways, especially when you had all those different versions of DS already. People didn't really know, that was a new DS. And then the games. Nintendo puts all their games on one platform now. Everything is on Switch 2. Even these Switch 1 games they announced today, guys, you can play them on your Switch 2. Every single game announced in today's Direct is playable on Switch 2. So everything's on Switch 2. Everything they make is on Switch 2 from here on forward. So that's already a massive selling point that Nintendo didn't have when they were running two platforms in the past. And then you look at PlayStation. Obviously, they had some real big issues at the beginning of PS3. It was overpriced. The third-party ports ran worse on it because it turns out programming for the cell processor was significantly more difficult than stuff that they're used to, like with the Xbox 360. So the third-party games played worse. And then Sony, again, has had this issue every generation. very slow in getting their own games out the door. But they've gotten away with that for so long because they built themselves on being the third-party machine. You buy PlayStation to play third-party games. Well, now we live in this scenario where maybe you're buying Switch 2 to play third-party games with the first party from Nintendo. And now there's a lot of caveats with that. Obviously, anyone who wants the best of the best, you're either a hardcore PC gamer, nothing wrong with that, or you have a PlayStation 5 Pro. Again, nothing wrong with that. But that's, the upper echelon. The general consumers, they just want games that look good and run well and play and are fun. And if Switch 2 can provide third parties where your games look really good, they run really well, even if you're not getting 4K, who cares? Especially when you're in handheld mode, you're not worried about that anyways. You got to run at 1080p. It'll be fine. So there's a real opportunity that Nintendo has the double whammy that they haven't really had since like the Super Nintendo days. We have all the big third-party games. And by the way, we got first party dropping every month. That's wild. Nintendo, I can't afford this generation. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And look, again, this doesn't mean PlayStation, Xbox, these other platforms don't matter. They still do. And yes, things are still going to run better on Xbox Series X and better on PS5 and PS5 Pro. Obviously, hit and miss depending on how much optimization was done, but usually better on PC as well. But that's not the point. This is a point that I think it's overlooked is the split of digital and physical on Switch is roughly 50-50 based on Nintendo's numbers. The split on PlayStation is 80-20 to digital. Because if you think about when you own a PlayStation and an Xbox, it's like PCs back in the day when we used to have disk drives on every PC. You used it to install your games. Well, they realized that, what's the difference between installing your game or downloading the game? Either way, you're not playing it off the disc. The disc just unlocks the game. And that's what happened with console now. PlayStation, if you go and buy a physical game, you ain't playing that when you get home. No, you're not. You could be waiting 2.5, 3 hours, 4 hours for the damn thing to install off the disc, and then another 4 hours of updates getting downloaded. There's a realistic chance that you can go after work on launch day of a big PS5 game. You grab it, get home. You just know you ain't playing it till tomorrow night. You don't even get to play it on launch.
Well, this just happened. Basically, for me, it wasn't buying the disc, but remember, last week I got my code from Ubisoft for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and super hyped to play it. Right, I go to download it, and it took I think 6.5 hours.
Yeah,
this sucks, dude.
Yeah,
this is a long time.
Yeah, so then you think about Switch. Switch lets you play not every game, but a majority of games without updating. You just pop the card in and play. Switch 2 is going to be the same way, guys. The carts are going to be fast enough with fast enough read speeds that you don't need to install. That's what happened is the games got so big and so intense they needed faster read speeds to be able to get it out to you, and discs just don't have it. It's a very cheap medium, but they don't have it. Cartridges can, though, because they can use flash memory modules in them. So, Switch 2 is still going to have that pop the card in and you can play right away. And end up being a big boost for Nintendo this generation, especially with these big third-party games. Some of them will obviously require additional download. I don't think they're putting Call of Duty all on a cartridge. I would prefer if they grabbed a 64 gigabyte and at least a single player was on the cartridge. Then you can just play single player right away while you're waiting for multiplayer to download or something. But that's what I would prefer. Whether or not they use those 64 gigabyte carts, as we saw during the Switch generation, everyone kept going for the cheapest of the cheap. Hopefully Nintendo got the prices down so we can see better for that. But I'm just of mind that Nintendo just seems to be in this perfect place where they get all the games and they're all running decently well. And they have that physical advantage of, hey, if you did buy a game physically, you can literally play it day one. But before you even get home. You can just go in the parking lot, pop it in your damn thing, and just sit there and play it right there. You're on lunch break. You picked up your game on lunch break. Play it while you're eating lunch in your car. That's like a massively appealing thing, and why Nintendo hasn't lost as much, hasn't gone as so far into the digital as everyone else. In addition to that, the nice thing about the physical is that when you are looking on store shelves and trying to get mind share of people, which section do you think is going to be the biggest? It's gonna be Switch 2. Literally. You guys have already seen the Xbox stuff has massively shrunk down in a lot of stores because hardly anyone buys physical on Xbox. They're just using Game Pass. PlayStation's 80-20 split. Very few people are going to the store to buy a new PlayStation game. But we're still doing it for Switch. So it's going to be the biggest section. I mean, you can even think about it. Like Walmart, for the longest time, I think they may even still do this. Every new Switch release is $10 off if you go in person at Walmart. Whether or not they keep that going for Switch 2, I don't know. But that's what it was for a long chunk of Switch's life, was $10 off any Switch game that launched and was available in store. Only on launch day. But that was awesome.
That is awesome.
So I feel like people forget that this is an advantage for consumers and for Nintendo. They're going to have the most shelf space. People are going to be able to play their games right away, most of them. And yeah, the system could have all the third parties. We have some other super chats here. But out to 712 saying, hype begins. Let's go. Dude,
yes.
Hype week, baby. I know, dude, this is wild. This is everything's just insane. What is going on?
Yeah.
Dude, 2 directs in 6 days.
It's a duck blur, which, I've never experienced, but I can only imagine how crazy it is.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is so hype, man. Welcome, Joyce J, Tall Show, Johnny Hernandez, and everyone else in the chat. How you guys doing? Too many people. We have like 500 here, and the thing hasn't even started yet. So, guys, I can't shout out everyone in the chat, but I really do appreciate that you're here. If you ever want to at me, at Thunderstash Gaming or at Nintendo Prime, it'll highlight it for us if you guys want us to respond to something you're saying in the chat. Obviously, the super chats will get a little priority. Anthony Cat says Walmart will sell more consoles per store when they sell more games. I do know college areas tend to get more as well. Absolutely, yeah. They'll allocate based on locations they know are going to perform well no matter what. College campus locations always perform big with video games for launches and stuff. So they'll have a lot of allocation there. Like places like me, where the thing is, like in the middle of nowhere, like I live, the allocation is a lot smaller. Sometimes that's awesome. Sometimes it's not. Stash just said himself, one person to pick up the PS5 in person at Walmart or whatever. The Stash, like one person. And I'll say, when I got my PS5, I was the only person. They had one physical come to store at Target in a month. And I was the one person to get it. So, like, by the way, I don't want this to be what it is. That was not good. Like, that's not good. Okay. I live very close to a place that's got like 500,000 people living there. Only one unit in a month is not good. And I don't know how I'm the lucky mother effer that ended up getting it, but that's not good. So hopefully it's not a situation like that. $5 come in from Joseph Forbush. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the support. Force Fanatic then came in and said, I'm scared I won't be able to get a day one. My town only has 7,000 people, so you might be fine. Yeah, I mean, if you have the biggest thing is just if you have a local GameStop and can do pre-orders in person, that's the easiest way to like guarantee something. If you're one of the first people in line, your pre-order is probably safe. It probably won't get canceled. And then obviously, as I said, guys, even if you don't get pre-orders in, Walmart is going to have units on store shelves day one. Oh, they might not make it the store shelves. They might just be behind the counter. But either way, day one, they will have Switch 2 units. All of them will. Now, where you live will determine how many they have. My local Walmart probably will have 5. But still, don't get a pre-order in. Be one of those first 5 people waiting. It's yours. So just be prepared. My question is, Stash, I know that we don't know what's available at launch yet. You got a budget in mind for what you're going to spend on launch? Because it ain't just about the system. There's other things, accessories, there's games.
Yeah.
Maybe Amiibo. They had Amiibo at the launch of Switch.
Yeah, I do wonder about Amiibo. I think Amiibo returns. The thing is, you can't stop selling amiibos because it's easy money. It's so easy. People love them. So there's no sense in stopping that.
Yeah, absolutely none. There was a super chat on your channel from Cy Tyson says, appreciate the channel, Thunderstash. Big respect. There you
I had
go.
another one too. You see the one from Go210?
I did not. Let me see if I can find it so I can feature it quick.
And Cy, thank you. I appreciate it. Cy is from Ireland.
From Ireland.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's awesome.
Oh, there it is. Go to 10. Got it. I love you, Thunderstash. You're a real gamer, brother. I love you, Thunderstash. You're a real gamer, brother. Loves you.
I appreciate that.
Showing love for the stash, man.
Game respects game. I can tell Go210's a big gamer.
Absolutely.
So budget. You know, my budget in my mind is I don't want to go too overboard, right?
Yeah. It's easy to do that at launch.
It is, and the thing is that right there's only so much time. You can't play all the games at the same time. Now, things are a little different than they were for all the previous launches. I mean, I started YouTube January 2023. Did my first video. So this is my first console launch while doing YouTube. This is your first Nintendo launch, right?
Yep.
With YouTube. So obviously it's a little different because I want to cover everything I can. And, I review stuff. Nate, you're probably going to be reviewing stuff because you've been covering the Switch 2 full force, all the news, all the rumors.
Yeah, I know. I
And
reviewed the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. It'd be really weird if I didn't review the thing my channel's about.
yeah, and so we have plans, right? Like I have plans to review the games, accessories, obviously the console. We have plans as a podcast to kind
Yeah.
of group review stuff that we've discussed, which is going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to that because I think that'll be helpful for everybody to know what our thoughts are, and because there's going to be so much. You know what I mean? Like we're a game that I'm playing, you may not be playing.
Yep.
It could be a third party port that I've already played, but maybe Gamebird hasn't played it, so he's buying it for the first time. Well, how does it run? How does it run on Switch 2? Like I want to know those things, right?
Absolutely.
I don't want to know them so much that I'm going to buy it and play it again because there's brand new games now to play. And I've already played this one on, say, Xbox or PlayStation. So there's going to be a lot of information to gather. With that said, how much will I spend? I don't. If the console's $400, which kind of what I'm thinking, I'm gonna get a 1 terabyte SD Express.
Absolutely.
How much will that be? I don't know, maybe $150, right?
Yeah.
So now we're at $550, but after taxes, we're probably more like $575, $580, and then games.
Yeah.
As far as accessories, I don't know. I don't do a ton of accessories.
Yeah.
Not like I used to, like growing up, where you got to get a memory card, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, you can't leave the store without a memory card. I think what I want to do right out of the gate is obviously I'll get a Switch 2 Pro controller. I know I'll do that. I might get an extra set of Joy-Cons though right out of the gate and buy them purely to mod them.
Absolutely.
Because I want to get custom shells, and I may do like the Fantastic series. I love the transparent, I mean,
yeah.
dude, when you know how it is. When you're an 80s, 90s kid, like anything transparent still to this day is totally badass. I love transparent electronics. And I wish they had it now. I swear, like, what are the market research people doing at companies?
Yeah.
Do you know who, like, we are the age, we're the demographic that wants this stuff and nobody's doing it, right? Fashions always come back in style. You need to bring that back for electronics, transparent electronics, please. So I'm going to buy an extra thing of Joy-Cons to work on, and I will most likely do a transparent shell. As far as what color, I don't know yet, but I don't know, Nate. I'd say at least 1,000,
Yeah.
if
I,
not, 15.
Yeah, I feel like 1,000 is probably min because I think about what I'm going to do. Obviously, there's the system. There's going to be I'll probably get at least one pro controller if there's a new pro controller. Because I feel like on launch I like to have all the official accessories, including a pro controller because maybe I just want it because of what the C button does, right? Just to play in dot mode. So the official pro controller, the charge grip, I'll probably nab that. Just not that I really need a charger. I didn't really use one in the Switch 1 era, but now now I'm a YouTuber, so I kind of feel like people might want to know, like, hey, does it charge faster in the grip? Does the grip have a battery in it and it maintains? And then how long do the Joy-Cons last? So I feel like that's a question I want to be able to answer for people to see if they think it's worthwhile. If you're only going to play in dot mode and that's player 2, how long can player 2 really play for? Or if it's player 1 because you don't have the money to buy the pro controller, but maybe you got $30 to buy a charge grip. Okay, how long can you realistically play with that before it dies? So that's definitely something that I think people are going to want to know. We obviously don't know if there's any other official Nintendo accessories. There'll be some third-party stuff. There could be licensed things day one. And maybe people want to know what, say, a licensed Mario Kart case is like in comparison to some of these other third-party offerings. Don't know. I don't know if there'll be any licensed shells or grips at launch. And then obviously if there's amiibo, like we had a ton of amiibo for Breath of the Wild. I don't know if we're going to get amiibo this time, but maybe we do. That's something that I'm going to want to probably pick up. Then, I mean, this is the games too, guys. I'll be buying at least 2. I'll buy all of Nintendo's published games at launch for sure. I'm assuming there'll be at least 2 of those. Those are $70 a pop, probably. There might be 3. So that's another 70 on top. So now you're over $200 just buying games without even considering that there might be a third-party game I want.
$225 easily with tax right there.
Yeah, and there could be third-party games I want. So already you add that all up, and I'm well over 1,000. So it's wild. And by the way, I'm not even saying, guys, with this budget that I'll have all of this pre-ordered because you can even pre-order controllers and all this stuff. I'm not saying that I'm gonna have it all pre-ordered, but I'm gonna be walking into the store with enough money in the bank to make sure I get what I want. Because here's the thing, I'm approaching 40. I don't know how many more of these Nintendo launches are left in my life. I really don't. It's weird to think about, but this could be my second to last one, third to last one. Especially if Nintendo keeps being successful and it keeps taking almost a decade to get a new system out. So I want to make sure that I'm going in fully prepared to get what I want, because that's always the thing that would bum me out, especially as an adult. I work too fucking hard for this one moment that comes every 8 years to not get what I want. I feel like I've earned and deserve to get what I want. A lot of the money I make in life, it goes to the kids and the family, taking care of things, paying bills. That's fine. That's just what you do as a family man. But every now and then I want what I want.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm going to go in getting what I want. Also, Nintendo, Ubisoft, and everyone else, you want to send me codes, I'll take those too. You want to save me a little money? That's YouTuber perk right there. That's not, Ubisoft will probably end up just giving me codes anyways. That creator program they have is very friendly.
It is.
Like I had Shadows early too on PC, and I couldn't. It's weird. I can't get the run on my desktop, and then it runs on my laptop, and then it has this lag it does every 2 minutes, or it starts to stutter really bad, and I can't figure out what's causing it. It's a laptop with a 4090 in it. Shouldn't be a problem, but
it should be no problem whatsoever.
But Ubisoft, yeah, they delayed it to optimize it. I don't think they were optimizing the PC version. But
Yeah.
that's all right. Anthony Cat says, "Hey, I'm approaching 50, so I know what you're saying." Yeah, like I want to fully enjoy this now. I'm not a kid. Like when I was a kid, I was just excited to get the system within the same year, right? But as an adult that works my ass off, I really like this one time. I want to be like, hey, I don't want budget to be a problem if I want something on launch day. Now, do I have to get everything on launch day? No, the games they'll still be there forever, but it's still one of those. I just want to. I don't know. For me, there's something special about that day one. It should be a day one experience, even if I'm not with fellow gamers. Say I walk in to Best Buy because I got the pre-order there and I want it to be an in-store pickup. And people might go, well, why would you do in-store pickup when you order online? Why not have it come to your house? Because if I order it to my house, it might not be here till like 9 o'clock on launch day at night. Whereas whenever I ordered to the store, and I know this from the past, it was there right when the store opened. It was already there. I could walk in and open it and grab my console.
That's why I did it with the PS5.
Yeah, so like even for this time around, anything that I try to get pre-orders through, I'm looking for in-store pickups.
Yep.
Because then I know a guaranteed time I will have my system. Sure, if you order online, could it arrive at your doorstep early in the morning? Could, but it also might get delayed. It might not even be there on launch day. I've had that problem before. So, but I've never had a problem with ordering online for in-store pickup and it not being there the day it said it's going to be there.
This is why I buy so many of my games at Best Buy, because I can pre-order them for in-store pickup. This is literally why. Otherwise, I'd probably go everywhere. I just have Amazon, but it's like Amazon's not going to deliver it to me on launch day on time. Okay. Like
No.
I'm already behind when it comes to reviewing games if I don't get an early review code, which 95% of the time I don't get a review code, right? I'm buying these games. So I'm already behind for that reason. Then I'm behind because I don't buy them digitally, meaning I'm not able to buy the game and basically download it and install it at 9 p.m. the night before because I buy physical. So by the time I can get it, right, which is when Best Buy opens 10 a.m., I'm already 13 hours behind. Not to mention there's many YouTube channels, websites that are getting codes a week or two early. So I'm like super behind, right? But what can I do? All I can do is email developers and hope they reply, and 95% don't, but
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
it is what it is, right? Like it's I always say it's worth a shot. It's worth trying. And if they don't, that's fine. Cause you know what? My intention was to buy this. Was to buy it anyways, right?
And Nintendo, you have my shipping address. You want to send me a review unit? I'll sign all the NDAs you want, man. Even if it hurts my channel, I don't care. Send me the review unit. That'd be sick. It's not gonna happen. I'll tell you why. Here's how I know it's not gonna happen. We just heard recently, that like next week, select media and YouTubers are gonna get to go hands on. Well, I was not one of those select ones. Bet your Rogers base was, but I wasn't one of those select ones. I got to get some better connects up in here. That being said, that's just YouTuber privilege. Let's get to a couple more super chats we had here. Joseph Forbush says, have you heard of the rumors of a redesigned game boxes for the Switch 2? And by the way, it's my first Nintendo console since the GameCube.
Oh, cool.
Charles, welcome back to the Nintendo family.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Like someone being inspired to come back to it after 20 plus years. That's awesome. I love hearing that. And you didn't say your first console in that time. So I'm assuming you went to PlayStation or Xbox or along the way, maybe PC gaming, which is totally fine. I literally do that same stuff. It was funny yesterday on the podcast. There was a person in the chat freaking out like, why are you guys only talking about the games coming to Nintendo? Do you know you guys even own other systems? And literally all of us own other systems and play games on other systems.
I literally own all of them.
Yeah.
I play more PlayStation than I do Nintendo the last, year or two easily.
Yeah. It ebbs and flows, but like obviously it's a Nintendo podcast, so I don't know why they expect us to talk about anything but that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I obviously Nintendo is my preferred platform. If Switch 2 runs the third-party games well enough, it might quickly become the dominant platform in my house. If it runs it well enough in handheld and docked, man, I can have as much reason to turn on my other systems anymore. Besides Game Pass, but then hey, so people want a Game Pass to come to Switch 2, so that could take care of that. I don't know if that's happening. But yeah, the redesigned game boxes, I haven't seen that rumor. Did you see it, Stash?
I did. Yeah. They're a little bit bigger. And here's the thing. Here's my take on it. One, I think it makes sense because again, we know this all too well. We've worked in retail. Yeah, I worked at Best Buy decades ago. God, I'm looking at the calendar in the bottom right hand of my monitor.
Right,
I'm like, geez, oh my God, how long ago was this? But I worked there. I worked at Circuit City. I worked at EB Games, aka Electronics Boutique. And the thing is, we all know that like the consumer, the average general consumer, right? Not the gamer, not any of us. They're very easily confused. Okay. A good way to differentiate Switch 2, for starters, change the box, change the design, make it bigger. What does bigger, if something's bigger, what kind of seed does that plant in people's minds? Okay. This is the new one. It's bigger, it's better, right? Those go hand in hand. From just that standpoint, from like a psychological standpoint, it makes sense for the box to be bigger and to look different. So yeah, when I heard that the box was going to be redesigned and that it was going to be bigger, a lot of people were like, but it doesn't need to be bigger. It's like you're just housing the same small carts. There's nothing in there. And it's like, I know, but psychologically, it makes sense to make the box bigger because everyone connects bigger with better. And that's what you want for Switch 2. You got to pull out all the stops to make sure everyone is crystal clear about what the Switch 2 is and that this is not a Wii U. Okay. This is the successor to Nintendo Switch. So, yes, I did hear about it. I'm glad they're changing the box. I'm fine with it.
Absolutely.
It'll fit on my shelf.
Jamie Cap wanted to let us know his budget's going to be about 650 to 750. I think it's pounds. And he's 53. Cry. Yeah. I mean, look, we don't get any younger around here. That being said, I'm looking forward to my 40s a little bit. That's because a certain physical ailment I've been dealing with in my 30s is going to be gone. So my 40s is going to feel great, but we'll see. We'll see how I'm doing by the time I get to my 50s. But yeah, I mean, that's the way it is these days. Is as you get older, you start to realize, hey, there's only so many of these moments left. You didn't think about this when I was younger. Didn't think about this entering my 20s. But I'm like, yeah. As I get older, you have this appreciation for these launch moments. Because there's only so many left. This is my first one. I'm actually doing it with other people, and like, there's my community, but then I'm also enjoying this launch with like Stash and all of our podcast people. Like when you guys hear Eric on the podcast, right? Like, hey, I played Breath of the Wild, and then I didn't play anything until Odyssey. Oh, okay. Well, I had no friends that were playing the damn system. So it's like, and I love Eric, but like he's definitely more of that super casual consumer that really only buys a game or two per year. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with buying one or two games and you just sink that entire year into those games. I think that's actually normal behavior for some adults. You only have so much time to play games. But being able to enjoy this launch with this community I built here on YouTube that we've all built together. And then now we have this podcast. Podcast is doing insane. Guys, do you realize yesterday's podcast, we had over 400 live at one point? I know we're over 500 right now live at the moment, but this is the direct. Like, I expect directs to have. We were doing 400 on a night where we were just talking about predictions for a direct next week. Absolutely wild. I mean, it's already almost at like 6,000 views right now. And like, so now we have a podcast that's growing, a community of friends I've gained on YouTube and just gamers in general to talk about this stuff with. I mean,
this is what you've always wanted.
Yeah.
This is what I've always wanted. that's why, like, I know I can see it in you. I just working obviously with you and becoming friends with you. This is what we've wanted. So this is special. And one thing, Nate, that we should mention too is that growing up, you could count on a new console every 5 years, whether it be from Sega, Sony, Nintendo. Every 5 years, we're getting a new console. That's changed. These life cycles are a lot longer, and the longer they get, the older we get, and the fewer console launches we see in our future. Like, I'll be 40 and I think like on May 7th, so soon. And I get that feeling too, because it's like, dude, this is 8 years. This was the longest wait for a new Nintendo console by far. And it's like, are we gonna do that again? Because if so, I mean, shoot, dude, I'd be like 48 years old by the time Switch 3 comes out. You'd be
Also,
47.
as Paul Gale noted, man, it was after we got past like March 10th. This is the longest wait between systems in console history.
Yeah,
That's wild.
massive.
And by the way, it's still selling millions. That's also wild.
Totally.
Like, so yeah, kind of interesting with all of that. Just glancing at the chat, yeah, Nintendo's Direct is already technically live at the moment, guys, but it's just them letting people get into the stream a half hour early. There's nothing going on. I mean, I can show you guys quick. There's literally nothing happening. Just share it quick. See, it's literally right there. It's live, but there's no music. There's nothing going on. So, and don't worry, this is not what the live look's going to look like. It'll be like, that's gone. This will be full screen. That's kind of what it's going to look like. So you guys get a nice full look at this. We might even make it better. Let me see here. I can make it a little bigger because I think we can do this. But bam, there you guys go. So it's going to be a majority of the screen is going to be the Direct with us off to the side, and we'll turn off the nameplate so you guys get the full look at everything. But anyways, but yeah, so there's nothing actually going on with it yet. It's just live early. If you know anything about how streams work, this is the stuff you kind of do to get people in. Like if I had a big Direct, like a big event going on, like say my old Prime Gaming Fest coming back, yeah, sometimes you're gonna go live early. I'll do a half hour of music just to give people notifications and get them to come in. You guys ever wonder why when I start my live streams, most of them, that I have an intro and it's just I'm playing music for like 10-15 minutes? Is because it takes that long for the notifications to go up for the stream. So you're just kind of waiting so people get in so they don't miss anything. Because what happens is
I didn't even know that.
Go live right away, like today. There's stuff we could have said at the beginning that people might ask about now, but say, well, I got into your stream right when the notification hit. How come I didn't? Well, because the notification happened after we were live.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I just learned something new.
Yeah, YouTube's a funny place like that. Pokemon fan says you have the same birthday as Nintendo Prime. Yeah, I know you do. July 5th, everyone. July 5th. We usually do a birthday stream. We'll see. I think my birthday lands on is it a Saturday this year? See, when it lands on a weekend, I kind of feel like I can do something fun.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say mine's on the podcast.
Yeah,
yeah.
Then we have to put on our birthday attire, not birthday suits. We're trying to keep the podcast. Let's see here. Joseph Forward says your channel reignited my love for Nintendo. Hey, dude, whatever gets it done. I know on my side, on my channel, one of the number one comments I get is like, man, dude, Prime is just so hype all the time. I'm like, I live for this shit, man. Like I have kids and I have all these other, but I'm telling you, and video games, it's just been there like my whole life. And through every hardship, breakups, I had a thing once with one of my kids where they were in the hospital for a whole weekend. The only way I even got through that was because I could play some games to kind of like center myself so I could be what I needed to be for my family. Like video games are just the highs, the lows, the sad times. This stuff is awesome. And I I feel so fortunate to be in the position I am as a full-time YouTuber, and also meeting the people that we have, the community we have, and doing something I'm passionate about for a living is just incredible. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this journey. It feels like we've been on the Switch 2 journey for like 4 years. So
Yeah, it does. I mean, I discovered you when I was still director of operations at Lone Depot, when I'm like literally at work and taking a little mental break here and checking the video game news, and that's how I discovered you. So it's just like, never thought I'd be working with you. Let me
right.
tell you that. Never ever thought I'd be. I didn't even think any of that would happen. I'd always thought about, you know, one day I would love to do YouTube. I would love to review games, right? Like, this is something since I was like a teenager that I wanted to review games. Obviously not on YouTube because that wasn't a thing. If you wanted to review games, you had to go to college, go get a journalism degree, which is something I had zero interest in.
Yeah.
I did not want to go in debt to go do journalism and not make probably very much money. But you know, life's interesting. You never know where it's going to take you. You really don't. I would never predicted we'd be working together and doing a live stream this morning, but I got to say, uh, this has been great. This is exciting. This is what we've always wanted to do. From the magazines coming in the mail, the Nintendo Powers, the EGMs, the Game Pros, the Game Informers.
Informer's coming back.
I saw that. I was happy to see that.
I'm totally getting a physical subscription. I'm so hyped.
Yeah. I was like one of the first people, I think, to do the Kickstarter for EGM. So I'm going to be in that book, which is cool because like I grew up reading EGM and like Dan the Shuasu and all those guys over there. Like, this is so cool, but
Awesome.
I can't tell you how many times I'd have my magazine out in class and have like my binder open, but with the magazine inside there. And you go, yeah, I'm sure you did it too. Like, I'm just sitting here reading Nintendo Power. I'm reading the E3 issue.
My social studies book. I never read social studies. It was a magazine.
Yeah, dude, I never did. And it's just so funny. If you're a kid and you're in school, don't do what I did.
Please.
Yeah, I got away with it because I think it's because I got good enough grades. But
that's what it was. Yeah, my parents never questioned anything because my grades were always pretty solid. So
yeah, they were good. They were good enough for sure. And but I really didn't try. I was just my mind was everywhere. I was focused on everything else, like video games.
Literally could have been a 4.0 student if I tried, but
I know I could have.
Guys, I didn't even try, and I ended up with a 3.5 GPA. So
yeah, I got a 3.0, and I did not try at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was more interested in video games, basketball, and girls. That's life, man.
That was life back then. Julian Gengelbach had a question about saying, do you have any suggestion for a replacement memory card for Switch? Because Nintendo support thinks all your errors are because of your SD card. Well, okay, so if you have a bad micro SD card, that happens. They only last for so long anyways, especially if you got it early in the Switch's life. It would be understandable, and now it could be out of its read and writes. I mean, like any reputable brand for the most part will be pretty solid. And for me, I have a 1 terabyte in my Switch, and I know it's a SanDisk. And those have really come down in price, so they're pretty easy to get your hands on these days. So I mean, if you want a suggestion, I mean, I just go with reputable brands. A lot of these third-party knockoff ones are kind of like other third-party accessories. You're not gonna necessarily get them the way that you want. But that being said, as Stash runs away, yeah, just go with a reputable brand, and they're more affordable now than they've ever been. Let's see here. Do you think we'll ever see the Zelda CDI games again? No. Nintendo likes to pretend they don't exist. Hey, we had a super chat in from Kathy Griffin. Let me I forgot to mark it. So sorry, we're using a application here to do this stream. So here we go. Kathy Griffin, the $2. Thank you so much, Kathy. Appreciate you. Mario and Luigi Bros said, do you think the Direct was possibly a last minute decision where they moved all stuff over from Switch 2 Direct, also releasing on Switch 1 to this, Prime 4 and Stokes on? No. I don't think Nintendo makes any decisions like this last minute. It takes time, it takes money, it takes a lot of people to put together a Direct. We've heard stories from the Kit and Krista podcast about how stressful putting together a Direct is. That's not something you can do last minute. This has been planned for many months. Many months they were planning to do this Direct now and do the Direct next week. It's been planned this way. Now, could this Direct have been meant to be earlier in the month at one point? Maybe. That's possible that they moved the Direct back maybe a couple weeks. But in terms of this Direct existing, no, this Direct today was planned. Nintendo had this planned for a while. They were always planning to do this Direct for at least 3 months or more ago. Again, as I said, the Kit and Krista podcast has shed light on how much work it is for these Directs. And they even said recently, yesterday, if you guys watched their show yesterday, for those that don't know, Kit and Krista, he didn't grow up with them. They worked at Nintendo for a lot. A lot of people know from Nintendo Minute. They put out there that, hey, this is insane. Like, they can't believe Nintendo's doing this because of how much work it is to put 2 Directs 2 weeks in a row that are this big. Like, they're like, they're even thinking some employees might be trying to revolt because of how much work it is to do this. But reality is, this particular Direct, and even the next one that we've known since January, there's a chance both of these Directs were done, back end wise for like a month or more. So we'll just have to see what happens. That doesn't mean there's not a lot of stress today, because you got to remember, it's not just that they're going to stream the Direct, right, on all these different platforms. They then got all the trailer uploads that they had to get ready and going, all the partners they got to talk to. Sometimes you got to talk to retailers for pre-order stuff. They need to know how many units they're going to be getting for some of the games announced today. And yeah, deal with an influx of questions from consumers and having support on hand. So like there's a lot that they have to consider for these Directs. But yeah, it's all good. Nintendo knows what they're doing. Like, has it happened at all during this Switch generation where it felt like Nintendo didn't know what they were doing? Has anyone felt that way? Because it sure feels like to me like Nintendo's been on top of their game this whole generation. So I think they know what's up. Stash, what are you drinking over there? The people want to know.
Yeah, so I'll do a little product placement here. So guys, this is called, let me get it. There we go. It's called Busy Cold Brew. And you can get it at the grocery store. I get it at Fry's, which for you, it might be, Kroger brand.
Yep.
This isn't Kroger brand, but it's called Busy. And they have the cold brew, and then they have another one that comes in a bottle like this that is concentrate. And like, if you don't read the label, just saying, like, if you don't read the label and you don't know it's concentrate, like, you should, it says like on the label, you only pour in, I think, 4 ounces and then fill up the rest with water. If you don't, you're going to be bouncing off the walls, but really good value. Caffeine level's high. I need a higher caffeine level. And then if you get the concentrate one, I think regular retail price in Arizona is like $7.99, but it goes on sale, for sometimes $6 or $7. But if you look at the yield, and again, like I was in, restaurant management for 10 years. So I look at food cost, obviously, and yield, and the things you learn, you apply to your actual life. Right. So
sure.
I look for something that is high quality and has a high yield for the cost. And I gotta say, if you're a coffee drinker and you have Busy at your store, I would give the concentrate one a try, because when you dice it up, it's like 48 ounce container for, regular retail price, $8 might seem high, but it's like, if you read the label, you're only pouring in 4 ounces. So you're getting a lot of coffees. You're getting a lot of high quality cold brew out of that. You go to Starbucks, you go somewhere else, you're going to pay at least 5 times the price. And convenience too, man. You don't have to get in your car. You don't have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Gas. You got all the crazy people on the road. A lot of factors.
I got a few super chats here. Matthew Williams just did the $1. Thank you so much, man. We had Mason Ripton come in and say odds on Wind Waker. Have never played it. Been hoping to get it on Switch. Rather not spend 250 plus to play on Wii U. Look, I don't want to get your hopes up because we've been thinking this was coming to Switch for years, since the 35th anniversary year and onwards, and the 40th anniversary is next year. So it's been 4 years that we thought this is coming over. But this kind of feels like the right time. I'm just going to say the right time to bring Wind Waker. I think Twilight Princess, personally, I'd rather see that one get like a remake rather than just bringing over the HD version. But Wind Waker doesn't need that. And there's a lot of people who haven't played Wind Waker, because if you think about poor Wind Waker, it released on GameCube originally. Nintendo's second worst selling home console platform, not counting Virtual Boy. Then they bring it back on their worst selling home console. So like Wind Waker's never really had a fair shake on a popular Nintendo system. So there's a lot of millions of people that might be interested in the game that have never played it. So like that's like Twilight Princess had a run on Wii. So, but there's a lot of people that haven't played Wind Waker. I think I would love if that's announced today. That would be huge. So the odds on it, look, I think a coin flip, but I think the coin flip might hit. I think it might hit today.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you brought up about Wind Waker. I haven't really thought of it in that way, in that it really hasn't had a fair shake. And now that you mention it, it's like, yeah, I agree with you. It hasn't. And it just makes so much sense to bring that to the 155 million install base, right?
Yeah.
It really does. And like you said, and I'll mention this too, I feel like Wind Waker doesn't need the power of a Switch 2. This is the perfect Wind Waker HD would be a perfect fit for Switch 1. I think Twilight Princess would benefit more. And we've talked about this. This isn't anything new. This isn't, any sort of revelation. We've talked about it on the podcast. We all, I think, agree that Twilight would benefit more from Switch 2. So I think if we were only going to get, hypothetically, let's say we're only going to get one, I think it would be Wind Waker. I think it makes the most sense. Holds up very well. It's like the 90s Disney animation. Holds up great today.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see here. This one we would already went over, but thanks for the super chat. Christian second account says Best Buy Canada just says Switch 2 pre-orders go live April 2nd. Yeah, we showed that earlier. Corey Bohm let us know right away. And so we shared that. Yeah, it's official. At least from a really big retailer that, pre-orders are going live. I'll probably have a video on it later today. We'll see if there's any other news to pair with it. There'll probably be, by the way, on direct days, if you guys don't know, there's always additional news after the direct. There's press releases and a whole bunch of other stuff that sometimes give more details. So I'll have to make a video anyways today to go along with that. And we'll probably lead with the Switch 2 pre-orders being official, along with some tips and tricks that I've learned over time with that stuff. And obviously with the shout outs all the time to Jake Randall. Like he's really going to help a lot of us be able to get the system day one. And if even not day one, on the restocks as well. He's really good with helping with the restocks. So thank you so much for that. We had a person become a new member of the channel, Big Welleb. Thank you so much for becoming a leader. I do appreciate that. And speaking of members, the good old Bama Hut, how to make his presence known, gifting 5 members. Thank you so much, Bama. And let's shout out those members quick. We have Braun Tech got one of the members. Harry Bach got one of them. Stefan Peterson got one. Anthony Nelson. And then one of our DJs, Charles Trudell. So thank you guys. Congratulations on getting those memberships. We had a $10 super chat come in from Matthew Williams saying, how likely do you think we'll see Silk Song today? Oh, that's the one. That's the one. Rogers Base said it's going to happen or predicted it. Look, I think every direct that comes, we say Silk Song has got to be here, right? and then it's not. Like, I don't think you save this for a Switch 2 Direct. My only caveat is because Microsoft cut them a check for them to be on Game Pass, that maybe Microsoft wants the release date. Because I don't think you could show this game again without a release date. Because last time the game got shown was at an Xbox event, I believe in 2022. And in that event, they announced it was coming to Game Pass and that everything in this Direct's coming out in the next 12 months. Well, almost everything did, except for Silksong. So you can't show Silksong again without a release date. You just can't. You can't do that to people again. We were promised to have it within a year. Now it's been like 2 years since then. So when they show it again, it has to have a release date. There is a shot that maybe they have to do that with Microsoft because they got that Game Pass check, but maybe not, because the game was also originally announced for Switch, and they had a playable demo. I shit you not, guys. I have played Silksong. This isn't a joke. I have literally played like an hour of Silksong, like legit, in 2019.
That's crazy. Actually, I didn't know that, Nate.
Yeah. Like, I literally have already played the game in 2019, and it's still not here. Now, I know it's just a team of 3, so and COVID happened, and that obviously probably impacted them and their families a lot. But man, why not? It's a general Direct today. Give us the Silksong. Give it to me. Put it into my veins. Love the original. Be getting this one day one. Sure, let's do it. Are we going down the drain and watch good shit, Nintendo? Yeah, 8 minutes or less. Yeah, I know, guys. We got 7 minutes to go, so I already have it ready to go. We'll flip over with about 5 minutes in case our conversation just drags right into the Direct. Let's see here. We had you like to say, you say it like Big Willie B. Well, I mean, that's what it looks. Look, when I was reading your username, Big Willie. Can I just be frank with you? When I was reading your username, it instantly in my head popped out as Big Willie D, and I'm just like, I don't like this is a family friendly day stream. Like I try to keep things a little more friendly on our day streams. I mean, occasional swear word will come out, but I try to make it more family friendly. The night streams of the podcast, are what they are. But I well recognize with 600 plus people watching that, yeah, there's probably some kids in the audience. So I try to be mindful of that. But I can't help what your username is and where my mind goes. It's a dirty mind sometimes. It is what it is. Big Willie style. Okay.
Hey, did you hear? Did Will Smith drop an album today?
Did he?
That's what I heard in my chat. That's why I think people were talking about Will Smith.
Let's see here.
Big Willie style.
Yeah, I know. Will Smith, an album. Okay.
What?
What's the album called? It's the actor rapper will drop his first album in 20 years. It's called Based on a True Story. It drops tomorrow.
Oh, so it is. So yeah, it's real.
Yeah, it's on his Instagram. Yep, he announced it.
Man, and
of course,
when's the last one?
All the media's got to bring up that, like, well, though an album won't make us forget the slap. Yeah, we know about the slap. We get it.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? We're just gonna live in that moment forever.
Yeah, it happened. Let's move on.
Yeah. All right. Let me go ahead and get the Direct on screen here so we don't miss the start. We'll do the Direct right here. All right. So now I'm gonna full screen this and actually stop sharing. Let me get this working correct up in here. There it is. There it is. That's the Direct. And it's playing. The volume's on. It's just nothing's happening yet. Went to the chat here. Now I got to read the chat on a different screen here. Me writes, I bet he will mention ex-wife in the new album. Yeah, that tends to, drama, exes, that stuff tends to happen all the time. in albums. So and it's kind of what music's for, right? Expression. Vanata712 said, now we're streaking for Nintendo. Did we just hit the streak? I'm not chugging a beer during a day stream, guys. But I can add to the streak. Too early. Despite accusations of being a drunk, I am not actually a drunk. You know, just because I have a few at night sometimes. All right, so 6:32 is what we got live right now. Cool. Yeah, we did hit the streak. Awesome. No, come on. No, everyone, don't be a bitch. Do it, guys. Come on. You're really gonna try to peer pressure me into chugging a beer? Let me tell you. I'll tell you this. Here's what I'll tell you. If this direct makes me cry, I'll crack a beer in celebration after. So I'm going to put the pressure on the direct. All right. The beer crack only happens. And I will keep streaming until the beer is gone. I'm not going to chug it. We're not going to do the big burp. This isn't a night stream, guys. Stash knows what's up because he's had the burp happen twice while he's talking.
Yeah, I have.
At least this time he knew it was coming. He's like, oh, I heard the crack of the beer. I know what's coming.
Yeah, it comes with the territory, man.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get rid of all my Miller Lights because I'm going to be switching down to MGD 64s as we lower the calorie weight loss.
In honor of Nintendo 64?
I mean, that's probably what I'll say publicly, but privately, less calories. Oh man! Yeah, 2 minutes away, guys. We're there. This is it. It's live. See right now. We're just waiting. Nintendo's just got to hit the start button. Will I cry for Silk Song? I probably won't cry. I'll probably just be like, finally, kind of like when The Rock walks out and goes, finally, The Rock has come back. Finally, Silk Song has come back. Since the demo I played in 2019.
2019 is wild to think.
It's 6 years since then.
They're a five-man team, right?
Maybe they're 5. I don't remember off the top of my head. Sorry, Anthony Cat did the streak soundbite at least. Let's see if it goes through. Oh, I don't know if the streak soundbite's going to go through for you guys. Let's find out. But we're going streaking. Yes. I'm assuming the Stash heard it. You guys heard it too.
Yeah. Of course.
I do have all my sound effects. In fact, there in honor of this direct happening, there was a lot of people doubting, a lot of people saying some really nasty things to me this week on my videos talking about this rumor for the direct. I got 2 buttons for you guys,
but I'm gonna go with my instinct on this one.
And then,
man, I'm tired of being right.
Anyways, thing is, I wasn't the one that was right, but I do find it funny. All right, we should be starting any second now. Here we go.
Game time.
Here it is.
1 plus 2.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah. Expected.
Love the music. It's so good. Still no release date.
Yeah, weird.
Hello everyone, I'm Shinya Takahashi, and I'll be your guide for today's Nintendo Direct. Today, we'll be providing information on upcoming Nintendo Switch games. We'll also have a Nintendo Direct for Nintendo Switch 2 on April 2nd, so please tune in for that as well.
Yeah.
What you just saw was Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake from Square Enix. Another character appeared at the end. What kind of adventure awaits? We hope you're excited for more information in the future. Okay, let's see the first batch of headlines.
Here you go, a quick one.
Escape from dire straits.
Mindy's in here.
2 minutes until oxygen 0.
Help me! Please help me, Dante!
The latest entry in the The Somnium Files series is stirring. You are Kaname Date, a special agent with a sophisticated AI called Aiba embedded in his left eye. Your mission is to track down Iris, an internet idol who has been trapped in a mysterious escape game. Conduct interviews to investigate Iris's whereabouts. Dive into a subject's dreams to reveal clues hidden deep within their psyche. And solve mind-bending puzzles in an explorable environment. Everything you learn will bring you one step closer to the truth. Uncover what's hidden in reality and dreams to rescue Iris. No Sleep for Kaname Date from The Somnium Files launches on the Nintendo Switch system July 25th. Unleash the supernatural.
Let's get something. Are they using AI for this voice? So the voiceover voice. Does AI see Somnium Files?
A classic Atlas action RPG returns with remastered HD graphics and enhanced gameplay. Set in the capital city in the year Taisho 20, Raido Kuzunoha makes his living as an apprentice detective. But unbeknownst to others, he also fights alongside demons as a devil summoner. To protect the capital, Raido must investigate a series of supernatural cases. Fight in real-time battles alongside demons you summon. Work with your demons to strike an enemy's weak point, then follow up with a powerful attack. Cooperation is the key to victory. You can even turn opposing demons into allies. Demons can also be useful outside of battle. And their powers are helpful in finding solutions during investigations. Guide Raido through a series of strange incidents.
I assume you're the bird who gave us a call?
As he uncovers a conspiracy that will shake the capital to its core. Raido Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army, launches on Nintendo Switch June 19th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop.
All right.
Consume darkness.
The Pac-Man game.
With your memories gone, you have been summoned to a strange, unfamiliar world, where you're greeted by a yellow orb known as Puck.
Or Pac-Man.
But who is this spherical stranger? Moored in a mysterious, maze-like world, your battle for survival begins. As Puck guides you on your journey, you'll delve deeper into the expansive world. By examining your surroundings, you can phase shift and combine with Puck to explore areas you couldn't reach before.
It's a Pac-Man
But tread
Metroidvania.
lightly. The creatures inhabiting this world will prove hostile. When facing imposing enemies, you and Puck can temporarily fuse into the Gaia form to unleash powerful attacks. By consuming your prey, you'll collect resources that can then be used to enhance your abilities. Work to uncover Puck's true goal and devour enemies to survive this cruel world. Experience a dark twist on the iconic Pac-Man when Shadow Labyrinth launches on Nintendo Switch July 18th. The rhythmic march begins. Remasters of Patapon and Patapon 2 are drumming onto Nintendo Switch as one bundle. Play your drum to the beat and give different commands to the Patapon army. For example, Pata Pata Patapon advances them forward, while Pon Pon Patapon has them attack. And if you string together combos with good timing, the Patapons enter fever mode and get a big boost in power. From the horse-riding Kibapon to the shield-savvy Tatepon, build up your battalion to take on hordes of fierce foes. Plus, new features have been added, so you can advance to the beat of your own drum. Lead the Patapons and march forth when Patapon 1+2 Replay launches on Nintendo Switch July 11th.
Are in July, man.
A lot of remastered.
Yeah.
Welcome to Zephyr Town, a cozy place nestled in a windswept valley. This is where your new life begins. First cropping up on the Nintendo DS system, this immersive farming and life sim has no shortage of activities to get up
First
to.
farming simulator game.
You must be the new farmer.
Tend to your farm while growing crops and caring for animals. Then sell your produce and other wares at the town's weekly bazaar. As bazaar sales grow, you'll help the once famous market regain its former splendor.
Inspiring, honestly.
You can also get to know the locals
I'd like to spend more time with you.
and maybe nurture a relationship if you find that special someone. Plus, taking advantage of Zephyr Town's windy conditions can make travel and other tasks a breeze. The winds of change are coming, and your new life on the farm begins when Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar launches on the Nintendo Switch system August 27th.
Hell yeah.
Please look forward to the latest entry in the Story of Seasons series. Next, please take a look at this.
Surprise? Metroid? No. It is! It is Metroid! It is Prime 4, baby!
Yes!
It's demonstrated! It's not so close. It's more exciting.
This is why I wore the Super Metroid shirt
This
today.
is the unknown planet Vuros. Here, Samus finds a verdant jungle with a colossal tree at its center. In order to survive and escape this planet that she was unexpectedly transported to, Samus must scan stone figures and other relics to carve a path forward. She's not alone, though. Abhorrent, alien creatures living in the jungle are waiting to strike. she explores the planet, Samus is granted mysterious and ancient powers. Psychic abilities. These powers allow Samus to operate mechanisms and to open doors. They also allow her to control the trajectory of her beams with the power of her mind.
That's cool.
But why were these powers bestowed upon Samus?
I don't know.
And what will be her fate after being summoned to Vuros? The threads intertwining beyond space and time are beginning to weave a new tale.
Still no date. Still no date. True. Switch to Direct next week? Date?
I think good chance to get it.
Oh, new colors to it. Oh, what's happening?
It looks like even more challenges await Samus. We hope you're looking forward to exploring with Samus's new psychic abilities. Okay, let's move on to some more headlines.
No Metroid Prime 2 or 3 though, damn.
Ready to stir up some mischief? Once upon a time, there was a drab coffee shop that transformed into a magical potion cafe. As the newest potionista of the cursed cafe, you'll craft concoctions for Disney villains and get to know them in a new light. Mix ingredients to brew all sorts of strange elixirs. Then serve them to your villainous visitors, including Ursula and Gaston. With help from Yzma, you can upgrade your ingredients to produce some wildly wicked creations. The potions you make can influence each customer's storylines, leading to different outcomes every time you play. Who knows what mischief might happen? Disney Villains Cursed Cafe launches on Nintendo Switch later today.
Yeah. That would be.
Summon a spellbinding adventure. Welcome to Witchbrook College, where students strive to master the magical arts. During class, use magic circles to perform rituals, fly on brooms, and learn advanced techniques to go from witch in training to skilled spellcaster.
Harry Potter without the hair.
There's also plenty to do outside of class.
I like the graphics.
Hang out with friends at their homes. Take on various jobs to help pay for tuition. Or use the spells you've learned to craft and sell original items. Plus, up to 4 players can make magic together in online co-op. Explore this whimsical world on the road to graduation and beyond. Are you ready for a spellbinding journey? Enrollment begins when Witchbrook flies onto Nintendo Switch this holiday. Action, adventure, and arcade games await. Set off on a fantastical mission to eliminate a mysterious deity.
This pre-ordered.
In this hand-drawn platforming adventure, you'll explore an expansive archipelago where nightmares and wonder collide. Upgrade
like
your trusty cane with magical parts. Then use its abilities to find your own path through the enchanting world. Can you uncover the secrets the archipelago holds? Find out when the Eternal Life of Goldman launches on Nintendo Switch this holiday.
With DuckTales DLC.
Celebrate the 40th anniversary of Gradius with a collection of arcade shoot-'em-up games from across the series. Titles include Gradius, Salamander,
Oh, nice.
Light Force, Gradius 2, Gradius 3, and Salamander 2. Some titles come with multiple versions, including ones from different regions and launch years. Plus, take the helm in a brand new entry, Salamander 3.
Hey!
Gradius Origins launches on the Nintendo Switch system August 7th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop. Battle to the beat in Rift of the Necrodancer. Press the corresponding buttons in each lane to fight monsters in rhythm-based combat. Keep the cadence going with epic boss battles, quirky minigames, remix stages, and global leaderboards. Plus, more musical mayhem awaits in the Celeste Music Pack paid DLC. And be on the lookout for more DLC in the future. Rift of the Necrodancer launches on Nintendo Switch later today.
There we go.
Cool.
Let's see what's in store. Welcome to Tamagotchi Plaza, a brand new entry in the Tamagotchi Connection series. There are stores galore. Design glasses at the eyewear shop. Polish pearly whites solo or with a friend at the dentist. And arrange plates at the afternoon tea shop. 12 wonderful stores need your help. Provide good customer service to get high ratings and upgrade each shop.
Well said.
In doing so, you get to meet more Tamagotchi, making the town livelier than before. With over 100 new and classic Tamagotchi, business is sure to be booming. Get ready to set up shop when Tamagotchi Plaza launches on Nintendo Switch June 27th.
Oh, that's yay! There we go. Did I not finish this? Yeah. Rogers, wait. I think I get a release date. Get a release date.
Welcome to Pokemon Legends ZA, a new title in the Pokemon series. You'll begin your adventure by choosing one of 3 partner Pokemon. The setting is this metropolis that also appeared in the Pokemon X and Pokemon Y games, Lumio City. To make it easier for people and Pokemon to coexist, a company named Quasartico Inc. is carrying out an urban redevelopment plan. Here, we'll get a glimpse into the lives of the Pokemon and people of Lumio City. Scattered all over town are wild zones. These areas are special environments where wild Pokemon can live comfortably, even within the city. You can catch Pokemon here, but they might be hostile. If you sense trouble, get to safety. There are Pokemon that live outside wild zones too. Some of them can even be found on rooftops. People and Pokemon live easygoing lives in Lumio City.
Beat 'em ups are probably freaking out about the windows again.
When night falls, the city's aura transforms. Highly skilled trainers are invited to participate in a tournament, the ZA Royale. Trainers await in battle zones.
When the lights go out.
If you're spotted, they'll challenge you to battle. Strike first before being seen, and you'll land a surprise attack. During battles, using a super effective move at the right moment is key. And with Mega Evolution, some Pokemon can power up even more.
Yeah, what's the Mega?
You'll start at rank Z and work your way up to rank A. Trainers who reach the top are said to have a wish granted. Day and night are two sides to Lumio City. It seems there are even more secrets waiting to be uncovered. What will you find on your adventure? Pokemon Legends ZA launches on Nintendo Switch later this year.
It is 2025.
In Lumio City, where the game is set, the aura transforms between day and night. It seems there are even more secrets to uncover. Please be on the lookout for more information in the future.
It's November.
Next, please take a look at this.
Let's take a look at this. Last time you said that it was Metroid.
Hello there.
This is not Metroid.
The game you're about to see, boop, doesn't have a big, epic story. Boop. But what it does have is lots of funny little rhythm games. Boop.
Minigame.
You wanna see? Boop. Just press the button to jump through the ring. Boop.
I would get so annoyed. I can't. Like,
It sounds easy,
my God, you didn't say boop that time.
but the timing is super tricky. Boop. Maybe you could try it in time to a rhythm.
I feel like I gotta put that as a voice in my soundboard.
In this game, you might do almost anything, but you'll need to do it in rhythm. With practice, you might even be able to play it with your eyes closed.
It might be Rhythm Heaven. You might be one of those.
Yeah.
Rhythm Heaven.
Get into the rhythm with a brand new entry in the Rhythm Heaven series, Rhythm Heaven Groove.
Damn.
That was Rhythm Heaven Groove,
Well, you know,
a brand new entry in the
2020
Rhythm Heaven series. It includes lots of music produced by renowned Japanese musician Tsunku. What kinds of rhythms do you think you'll hear? We hope you're looking forward to it.
What kind of rhythms will we hear?
Next, we have news about the use of digital games on your system. Please take a look.
What? Interesting.
With game cards, you can put a game featuring Mario in this Nintendo Switch system
Yeah.
and a Legend of Zelda game in this one, freely inserting the games you have on hand into any system you want. But what if digital games could be as flexible and convenient as game cards? Well, here's what we came up with. Introducing the Virtual Game Card. In the future, virtual game cards can be used for digital games.
In the future, aka with true launches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When purchasing the digital version of a game, it will be loaded onto your system as a virtual game card,
Sure.
allowing you to play that title.
Yeah.
Your digital games will be lined up as virtual game cards on a dedicated management screen.
Yeah.
Here, you can load and eject your virtual game cards and manage which games you can play on your system.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't matter without a second system.
If you have two Nintendo Switch systems, you can eject a virtual game card from one and load it onto the second.
It can't be loaded on two systems at once.
Now you can play this game on the second system wherever and whenever you want, just as if you had inserted a physical game card.
Well, just as it was
With virtual game cards, you can freely load and arrange which games you play on up to two systems. Local communication with your second system is required, but only the first time.
Okay, set it up. Yeah, this is what I
You can also lend out virtual game cards to your Nintendo account family group members.
Okay.
Connect to your family group member system via local wireless when you want to lend a game. Choose the title you're lending and
That's
who you're
cool.
lending it to.
You can borrow digital games.
and you're done. They can now play on their own system. You can only lend one game at a time to a particular person. Games can be lent out for 2 weeks, after which they will automatically return to you. Making digital games even easier to use. Virtual Game Card.
That's neat. It feels a little convoluted, just a smidge.
The Virtual Game Card feature lets you swap games between Nintendo Switch systems as well as to Nintendo Switch 2 systems. This feature is planned to be added via a system update in late April. Let's take a look at more Nintendo Switch games.
We'll have to top all that out. That's going to be a big talking point tonight.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge game.
High on Life. Okay.
High on Life. Hell yeah. Good game. All over. There's a pilot.
Fantasy Life.
Yep, Fantasy Life. I wonder what the closer's going to be.
Uncover history once more. An HD remaster of Saga Frontier 2 is venturing on to Nintendo Switch.
There it is.
Meet Gustav, the Royal Heir, and Will, the Explorer. Two heroes whose fates and legacies will intertwine across generations in this epic RPG.
Well, we want to happen to Chrono Trigger. You can remake it.
Experience the original story, along with brand new events that expand the vibrant world of Sondale. Plus, team up with more characters in battle. And transfer stats to allies through the parameter inheritance system. After finishing the main story, you can test your mettle and might against even more powerful bosses. What histories will you uncover through the ages? Saga Frontier 2 Remastered launches on Nintendo Switch later today.
Hell yeah! There we go.
Monumental adventures await.
We're not to the one more thing yet. Holy crap. We're going to go over an hour,
Embark
guys.
on peaceful journeys across this series of beautiful puzzle games. Wander through isometric worlds filled with stunning landscapes to manipulate, optical illusions to discover, and mystifying secrets to unfold. In Monument Valley, lead the silent Princess Ida in her quest for forgiveness while outsmarting the enigmatic crow people.
This was on phones. It's a good game.
A different journey awaits in Monument Valley 2. Guide Ro in her adventure through motherhood as she and her child unlock the secrets of the sacred geometry. Both games contain all their additional chapters, add-ons, and DLC. The first two Monument Valley games launch on Nintendo Switch April 15th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop. And help Noor on her journey to restore the world's light in Monument Valley 3, setting sail on Nintendo Switch this summer.
All right. And they're still just going.
Interesting.
A brand new entry in the Everybody's Golf series is driving onto Nintendo Switch.
This series is fun.
Hot Shots.
Aim.
Yeah, this is fun.
Time your button press just right, and take your shot.
Nice shot.
Perform backspins, side spins, and other special shots. In the single-player challenge mode, compete in tournaments and face off against a range of rivals to become the ultimate golfer.
You mean what should have been in Mario Golf?
In Wacky Golf, your shots could get pulled into holes or obstacles might fall. It's golf that's not quite par for the course. Up to 4 golfers can hit the fairway together locally or in online play. So just relax and get ready to tee off. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots lands on Nintendo Switch this year.
Okay. Good guy.
Unite some of Marvel's greatest superheroes in the fight against evil. Pair up 2 heroes from the roster of 15, including the likes of the spectacular Spider-Man and the ferocious Wolverine to take on the challenge. From close quarters combatants to aerial aces, you can mix and match a variety of heroes for an amazing array of possibilities. And swap between your team of 2 at any time. Take advantage of your team's strengths to overwhelm your foes.
I like they have hit
Plus, up
points
to 4
too.
players can assemble for local or online co-op play.
Don't always get that.
The battle for the fate of the Marvel Universe begins when Marvel Cosmic Invasion launches on the Nintendo Switch system this holiday.
That was Marvel Cosmic
After the one more
Invasion,
thing.
where you'll battle
Gotta
as
be.
a tag team of different superheroes. Next is our last game announcement. Please take a look.
What is it,
This
guys?
is where we all hold our breath.
Animal Crossing DLC?
That's what it looks like.
I'm a buckle.
No, it's not.
100 plus yesterday.
What is this?
How refreshing.
Wait, is this Tomodachi Life?
I think so.
Tomodachi Life!
Hiya.
Yeah, they use that for the show closer, huh?
Tomodachi Life. Living the dream.
There it is. There's a lot of these things pretty happy. 2026. They're just showing support to next year. Also, I am. Oh,
Did you want to talk?
Tomodachi Life is a freaky game.
That's creepy.
Glad that was only a dream.
That was Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, the first new entry in the series in over 10 years. In the trailer, we saw Mii characters living on an island out at sea. What kinds of interactions do you think they'll have? We hope you're looking forward to it. Thank you for watching today's Nintendo Direct so far.
Please, so far.
So far.
Our final announcement is something a little different that's not a game.
Just said that was your last.
Here's Mr. Miyamoto to introduce it.
He said it's not a game.
Miyamoto.
Hello, I'm Shigeru Miyamoto.
Movie?
Thank you for watching today's Nintendo Direct.
Is it the movie?
Since 2011, Nintendo Direct has delivered Nintendo news directly to you. And now, these presentations have grown into an event that many people watch. Thank you all very much. We'll continue to broadcast Nintendo Direct presentations, but we're also launching a new channel based on the concept of delivering information to you directly.
They're trying to eliminate me.
This is a smart device app called Nintendo Today,
Nintendo Today,
which functions like a daily calendar. In the app, you can view different Nintendo events. We will also be delivering all sorts of content about Nintendo games and characters every day.
Okay.
After the Nintendo Direct for Nintendo Switch 2 on April 2nd, news about Nintendo Switch 2 will be delivered to you daily and directly through the Nintendo Today app as well.
Daily Switch 2 news after April
Nintendo
2nd?
Today will be available to download on smart
I like to
devices
hear.
later today.
Cool. Here later today. Nice.
Anyone with a Nintendo account can use the app, so
Yeah, we'll
please
have to
try
use
it out.
We'll have to use it before the podcast. We'll talk about this.
Yeah.
That's all I have to share. I hope you enjoy using Nintendo Today.
Cool. I'll have to try that out.
That's all for today's Nintendo Direct.
I like the daily Switch.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, so that was the final announcement. Cool. I mean, they ended with an announcement that tells you, hey, we're going to have daily Switch 2 news turn on April 2nd. All right, so the initial thoughts is it was basically an indie world with some Nintendo announcements.
Yeah.
You had Metroid, you had obviously Legends EA, and then we had Tomodachi Life. You get rid of those, it's basically an indie world. I know Dragon Quest, sure, but kind of fits in with the indie vibe. So I would say that obviously one of the weaker directs, but also it kind of confirms something in my mind. Because you think about it, like Tomodachi Life was their show closer. That's 2026. So they're trying to say, hey, we have games coming all the way out in 2026. But there was nothing big besides already known games.
Yep.
Everything's on Switch 2, guys. They already flipped the Switch.
That was my biggest takeaway.
My huge takeaway is everything's going. All their teams are working on Switch 2 games,
which is good.
Like, even not getting the Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. I'm not saying like we can't get those games on the line. They can still announce it in the future, but literally they did a general direct today to basically announce an app in Tomodachi Life. And that's fine. They probably should have called it a mini, but what I'm actually shocked about is how there wasn't there was like basically zero AAA third parties besides Dragon Quest and Saga.
Yeah.
But like otherwise they just didn't even show up. Not sure. Obviously they're a lot more excited for Switch 2. I think we get that. But I it's just some interesting notes. Just thinking about they did this big general direct, and then there's plenty. By the way, there's plenty of announcements for our podcast tonight. We'll be fine. We got Zia to talk about. We got Metroid Prime 4. We got Tomodachi Life. We got an app, and just the direct in general. But I think that I'm a little flabbergasted. I don't know they needed to do this direct. A lot of these announcements could have been on just a Twitter drop, the app, even the Tomodachi Life announcement. Because like this is probably the final dedicated Switch 1 direct, and it's kind of like a whimper. I don't know. What do you think, it's Stash?
Well, yeah, I was thinking, I'm wondering how they're going to do directs going forward. I know that like once Switch came out, original Switch, they would start off the directs with Nintendo 3DS, and then they'd move into Switch. So I wonder if they're going to keep them separate or just do it all together now, where it's basically a Switch 2 direct, but there's going to be some Switch 1 games sprinkled in. I think that'd probably make the most sense because of the backwards compatibility, you would think. But maybe not. Who knows? Like, again, new president, new rules. Everything's on the table now kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this direct got some of the things out of the way that they would have had to have addressed on the second, like the virtual game cards.
Yeah, the virtual game cards, clearly they said, launching later this year. Clearly, I mean, I said it at the time, like, okay, so launching when Switch 2 launches. They wanted to have this as a feature, but they're going to have it on both systems. I have to rewatch some of that and take some notes because I love the idea. I think the execution feels a little clunky for some of what they're doing. But I'll give an example. There's no way to let my kids play my games when I'm gone in Boston because they have to be in the same room with me to let them. But so like that sucks. Like, why can't it just be shared with anyone on my family account over the internet? You know what I mean? But we'll see. I mean, it existing at all is good. Like, it being a thing at all is really good, especially when, see, it's kind of weird right now because The way it works now, if you want to share your digital library, you just have an account on a second Switch. You have your main Switch, and then you have a second Switch. You just have your account as the secondary on the other system, and you can still access all of your games. Like on my Switch right now, it's not my main account on my Switch; it's my secondary account on my Switch. And then my main account is on a different Switch that everyone else's profiles are on, and they can go ahead and access all the games there. And then as long as they're not playing the games, I can still access it on my secondary Switch, which is my main Switch. It's just way more convenient that way. This doesn't really fix that inconvenience, other than anyone on my family account, I guess I could technically share the games with if we're in person. That's cool. But it's weird because if I unload, let's say I have a digital copy of Tears of the Kingdom, if I unload that and hand it to my kid to play, and I leave on my trip and I forget to reload it on my Switch, I can't play Tears of the Kingdom now when I'm gone. Why in a digital world would you limit me to a physical limitation? Like, yeah, when I borrow someone a physical game, if I'm gone, yeah, I got to meet up with them to get the physical game at. But these are digital. Why can't we deal with this digitally? Why does it have to be almost like they're leaning maybe to physical users' behest? They're leaning more towards the way physical games work. I don't know. It just feels like just a little clunky.
I think we need to. I presume Nintendo is going to put something out very shortly here, either on Twitter, or like a little press release, little infographic. But from what I gathered, if you buy a game digitally, you can borrow it to anyone in your family group, and you can have up to 8 people, it said, in your family group. So Nate, like if you want it to be part of my family, so to speak, because you and I buy a lot of games.
Oh yeah.
So if you wanted to buy certain games and I wanted to buy certain games, so we don't both buy the same games.
Yeah.
For instance, if you buy 10 launch titles and I buy 10 different launch titles,
mm-hmm.
and we're in the same group, I could hypothetically rent it out to you, because I think it even used the term renting. Did it?
Yeah, or borrowing
something
like that. Yeah,
and that I think it would return to you. I might have said 7 days in a week or something. I thought it said a week or 7 days, so obviously it's a week. But it's interesting because, again, in a digital age, how do you lend games to a friend like we did growing up with physical games? You know, you bring a game to school, you give it to someone, they give you their game. Mm-hmm. So this seems like a way to do it, but my question is, like, how do you add people in this scenario to the family? Right? Like, can I just drop people in and out of my family? Or do they need to be in there for a certain amount of time in order for me to lend them a game? I'm curious how that's going to work. If it's as easy as dropping people in and out, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think the entire system existing in all is kind of cool because no other system really has this. Even when I just talked about, you're limited with the 2 Switches. Here, we're not limited. It can be 8, up to 8 that you can borrow games to. So, like, the system itself, it's a really, really cool idea. It's just from what I saw, and we'll see when the PR stuff comes out. Like, it just feels, it looks really clean in how they're doing it, and it makes sense. But then also, why don't you take advantage of the fact that this isn't actually physical games? Like, I should be able to be not in the same room with my kid, be able to share a game with him. But for some reason, we have to be in the same room because it's using local communication. That's the only thing I don't get, because digital is all about convenience. So why would you make it no more convenient than sharing a physical game? Other than the fact that you could share, obviously, my games with multiple people, but I mean, when you're sharing the game, you're only sharing one copy. So if I have Tears of the Kingdom borrowed out to my son, I can't then borrow it out to somebody else to also play. I have to wait till I get it back. So it's literally a physical limitation, and I have to be in the same room. So it's not any more convenient than physically sharing games. Outside of the fact that they can't lose it, and if they sell their Switch or something happens, you do get your games back. So that's the one convenient factor is if someone tries to screw you, 7 days you get your game back, right? So, like, that's nice.
I understand why they'd put a limitation. I'm sure you do too. Why they don't let you borrow it out to multiple people because, well, if you just do that over and over again, no one's going to buy the games, right? Everyone's going to find a friend and do exactly what you and I just talked about, where we only buy half the amount of games we normally would because I can just let you borrow them to me and I'll borrow you my games. So I get that. I think we need to see the execution of it.
Yeah. And
Personally,
there might be more details to it as well. This will just be the
probably.
introduction. And so yeah, we'll see. Well, we got more talking to tonight after because we're gonna have to take some hardcore notes on some of this stuff to make sure that we're representing it correctly. And we'll re-show some of the stuff during the show as well, guys. We'll grab some of the trailers and stuff that we want to rewatch. Because we don't want to go over everything now because we do have a show tonight. My reaction to the Metroid Prime 4, just a real quick one. Oh, it's in the Switch 2 Direct, and they're dropping the date there.
Yeah, I totally think they are, and I think the date is tied.
Yeah,
most likely to the Switch 2 launch, right?
Yeah.
Because that's why you didn't give us a date. Which everyone, that's great news. If you wanted to play Metroid Prime 4 at launch, the odds I think are in your favor now.
Yeah,
even more than they were before
And
today.
I saw some people in the chat being like, "Oh, it looks muddy. It looks this one." Remember, this is a Switch. Okay, that's first. Remember what platform we're showing this on. Okay, it's also going to make it look so much more impressive when they show it on Switch 2.
It's exactly what I thought too.
Like if they show it on Switch 2, it's going to look so much better. It might even be developed for Switch 2 and downported the Switch 1 at this point. I don't even know.
What's interesting, guys, and like the first trailer we saw for Metroid. Remember, everyone was like, "Is this running on Switch 1 or Switch 2? Like, this looks really good." But when we saw today's trailer,
clearly Switch 1.
Like that's Switch 1.
Yeah,
clearly
looks worse than the first trailer.
Exactly. I thought it looked worse than the first trailer, which to me, I'm like, this is cool. Like, I think that lends way more credence to Metroid Prime 4 being there on April 2nd to show how it looks on Switch 2, right? Which I think that's great. That's great. That should be great news for everybody.
Yeah, that should be. A couple super chats here. Lily Young is excited for Tamagotchi Life. F yeah, take my money. Surprised YouTube even let the F word get through there. Thank you so much, YouTube. But no, yeah, you did. Tamagotchi Life. I know a lot of people in my community. It comes up in a lot of my live streams. Hey, are we ever going to get this game? Ever since Miitomo, I know a lot of people in my community are excited for it. I'm not that big into Tamagotchi Life, so it's not a big game for me. But I know it's quirky. I know it's fun. I feel like it was way more fun back in the day when you could be able to get Reggie and Miyamoto into your game. Okay, that's not happening today anymore. So maybe Miyamoto still, maybe, but yeah, it's a quirky, fun game, and it's 2026. So, I probably won't even be thinking about this game anymore by then. Tonight's podcast might be the last time you even hear me talk about the game. Sorry to everyone who's excited for it. I'm not excited for it, and I got to make sure I talk about things I'm excited for, or it's going to be fake. I don't want to do fake excitement. But I am glad it's coming. I am happy for the people that really wanted it. It being 2026. I mean, this whole direct just gave me the vibe of Switch 1's done.
Mm-hmm.
They're done.
Good.
They've moved on. We're going to give you a few breadcrumbs into 2026, but our monthly release slate, we're done doing that. The big third parties, they're done with the system. We got a lot of indie games still coming, and we got a handful of Nintendo stuff, and we're outie. I wouldn't be surprised. I know they can always announce more for Switch 1 in the future, and I've seen people talk about, well, in future directs, they could just announce more for Switch 1 with the Switch 2. They could. Also, I don't think they're going to. I don't know that Nintendo has any more announcements for Switch 1. They were already talking about 2026 games in this direct. I don't think there is anything else coming. And the only thing that surprises me, I'll say this. There's maybe one more thing coming. One more thing. But I was going to say Prime 2 and 3 remaster is what I'm thinking. Like, maybe that's one more thing. But then why wouldn't they have just dropped that today? Like, why would you say that? Like, there's no way they're announced at the Switch 2 Direct. Oh, look how good Metroid Prime 4 is. By the way, go play 2 and 3 remastered today. But, like, why wouldn't you do that during the Switch 1 Direct?
I thought about that. I also thought, could they do like a Twitter drop today?
Or maybe they don't exist.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Okay, we've talked about this numerous times. The logical approach is to release the second and third game to prepare you for the fourth. Otherwise, you're asking your fans to go track down a GameCube or a Wii and then buy Metroid Prime Trilogy, which is very expensive, lower resolution. Point is, it's not the ideal way to experience Metroid Prime 2 and 3. And it's never ideal to ask your fans to go out and buy consoles that they don't have and software they don't have and pay a very high price for it. So logically, this does not make sense to not release 2 and 3. And logically, it doesn't make sense to ask someone to play part 1 and then go play part 4 and just forget 2 and 3 even exists, right? But the thing is that logic does not always play out.
I swear if they announce next week that it's a pre-order bonus for Prime 4 to get 2 and 3.
I thought that could be a thing, Nate. Because I mean,
don't know because they didn't give us a date yet, so they can't announce it until they give us the date.
Yeah. If they did that I really believe would increase the sales of Metroid Prime 4.
It could help
dramatically.
You get 3 games for 1. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously we all experienced. I mean, I have it on my shelf. The Wind Waker pre-order bonus. Master Quest.
Yeah. That was cool back then. I love that.
That was badass. So I did think about this, that could be a possibility if it doesn't get announced, because I still think there's a path somewhere for Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Again, logically, I think there needs to be a path.
Absolutely. A super chat from Joe Taku says, I'm head of a family with 4 people. My wife is the only one that lives with me. My 2 other friends live in different cities. This virtual card thing will allow us to share games in a way. So the thing is, the way they described it is you have to be in person to share the games. And then you get them back after a week, no matter what. That's the way it was described. It might be different when we get the full details. That's just one way to do it. And the other way is if they're on your family plan, you could do it over the internet as well. We don't have the full details yet, but the way they described it was you have to be in person. So your 2 friends in different cities, unless you meet up with them, you couldn't share the games, just like physical. That's what I was complaining about. Is I'm like, that's a very weird system that you have digital games, but you're limiting it to physical limitations. But maybe it'll be different. Maybe that was just they didn't share everything about how it works. And also, it's not launching right now. So all of this could be subject to change and be updated. So, maybe now they announce that they get feedback, maybe such as this. And then they'll be like, okay, let's iron this out a bit more. It's not like, like we all think it's probably meant to launch for Switch 2, but okay, let's say they want to delay it. No one's going to not buy Switch 2 because game sharing got delayed. But it is cool that by the way, them just having it at all is already cool because it's already better than what we have now. So that's awesome that they even have it, because in most cases you can't share your digital games. I have a Steam library. Exactly. I can't share those games with anyone unless I just give them my Steam account. So yeah, like it is definitely way better than nothing, and a lot of companies do nothing. So especially to share beyond 2 systems. There's a lot of like Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. You can make 2 systems work, like I talked about for digital before, but not beyond that. And this is letting you do beyond that. So that's already better than anything. Nintendo's in this uncharted territory. They're kind of pioneering this.
Yeah.
This idea of sharing digital games with multiple Switches. I mean, no one's done it. So it might not be the most ideal yet, but this is how, so that's how it begins. It's just how you start. It's kind of like when we started getting digital games on like Wii back in the day. Like that was sort of starting the digital trend for indies to get their games out without releasing physical copies, like World of Goo back in the day and stuff.
Yeah,
it just started out and it was kind of rough, but it was kind of cool. And then everyone else kind of got on board, and then it got better and better. Like if nothing else, if you love PlayStation. Now that Nintendo's doing this, you think PlayStation is not going to come up with something for PS6 to share your digital games? There's no way they're going to let Nintendo have a feature they don't have. And they'll probably try to find a way to make it, more convenient where you don't, because you're not carrying around a PS6 to your friend's house with his PS6, so, so my fiance's back here like, I would do it. I'm like, well, for LAN parties, maybe. For LAN parties.
Back in the day, for sure, we did that.
Yeah, she can put the PS5 in her purse because her purse is like this big.
Yeah.
It's like a duffel bag.
Michaela's is too.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's women that are, you think about purse, you're like, oh, this little thing. No. The purse is a bag.
I know she'll run into me with it. I'm like, dude, it's like you have a lineman next to you all the time, just plowing through things.
Yeah, if we're in a store, don't worry, she'll clear a path.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we had the super chat in from Gabriel Canada. It says 0 release dates confirmed for first party 2025. Yeah, that was interesting. Look, Pokemon gave us a window late. It's November. They always drop Pokemon in November. They're going to save the exact release date for probably some Pokemon event later this year, as Rogers Base said. But I did say they would give us something release, and we did. They just didn't give us the exact day. And that's fine. And they maybe they don't even know the exact release date because they want to wait to see how Nintendo's lining up the Switch 2 holiday lineup. So it's not releasing the same day as a major, like, first party Nintendo. So maybe that's also why they're like, hey, we're just waiting to see where Nintendo puts everything. But yeah, the biggest takeaway, I'm going to be honest, for anyone who's underwhelmed by this direct, which I totally get, because we saw more of Metroid Prime 4. We're going to save the Metroid Prime 4 talk for tonight because we'll talk about the abilities and all that stuff. But again, I'm just more hyped for Wednesday now.
Yeah, they cleared the path.
Yeah, they were worried this was going to overshadow and make Switch 2 less exciting. I'm like, are you kidding me? They showed nothing.
Yeah, like, do you want to talk about game sharing on April 2nd if you're Nintendo? No. You don't want anyone to walk away asking, what was that all about? They just want you to focus on all the positive and make sure it's a crystal clear message, because I'm sure they tried to make it crystal clear. But again, it's not like we're going to have to go back and either rewatch it or read whatever messaging they put out there. But they don't want us walking away on April 2nd talking about that. That should not be a takeaway on April 2nd, right? So they throw it in today, which is great, because I don't want to hear about that either on April 2nd. Nobody does. Nintendo doesn't want us to hear about it. So this is good. I just feel like they really cleared the path, paved the road for April 2nd. Nothing will bog us down that day. So this is good. And again, the games we saw, again, we'll talk about it tonight during the podcast, but yeah, there's some games in there that I'm excited about. There's some games that I already have pre-ordered.
Yep.
Actually, believe it or not. But Saga Frontier, that was cool. Again, we'll talk about it tonight, but it just makes me more excited for the second, bottom line.
Yeah, bottom line, that direct's going to be massive because there wasn't hardly anything here. And I think they got, as kind of was briefly talked about last night on the show, was this felt like a clearing the slate. Like, let's just get everything out of the way that we need to. So we have our couple Switch announcements. We'll show ZA again, let people know roughly when it's coming. Let's show Metroid Prime 4 just because, hey, we're probably going to show it next week, but we want to remind people it's coming to Switch 1. And then, you have all your indie contract obligations and stuff they probably had to get out of the way. And the Dragon Quest one was probably a contract obligation that they were supposed to put in a direct. But it's the two biggest announcements out of this are literally the app, the new app for phones. Literally, they didn't shy away from immediately saying Switch 2 news every day on the app after April 2nd.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
They are planning marketing wise to have a piece of Switch 2 news every day for the foreseeable future after April 2nd. That's wild to me. Now, in hindsight, this is Nintendo. So the Switch 2 news could literally just be rehashing old news with an article, whatever. But like they do on the news app on if you ever go to the news app, it's always like news we already knew about from like 2 days ago. If you pay attention, for some people it will be new news. So we don't obviously know how that works, and I think the app they said it's available right now. So we'll mess around with that, and have a better, deeper understanding of what they're trying to do with it tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure we get it. I'll make sure Eric and Gamebird pick it up as well. Just say, hey, there's probably not a lot on this thing right now. It's day one, but let's just see what Nintendo's going for and talk about what the possibilities for this might be. Does it make YouTubers like me irrelevant?
No.
Somebody's in the chat joked, hey, this will make your research easier. I'm like, I doubt there's going to be anything on that app that I don't already know. But
to me, it sounds like the app, and we'll talk about it more tonight, but I think they want everyone to enable those push notifications.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's going to tell you when a game's releasing.
Yeah.
It'll allow you to probably set reminders like, hey, this game's coming out in a week. This is great for Nintendo to get into your phone and let you know everything that's happening in the world of Nintendo. I wouldn't be surprised if you can sync your calendar with their release dates.
Yeah.
Which
they have a calendar in there.
Which is cool because I actually put release dates in my phone.
Yeah, you better be
manually
able to sync. Yeah, you better be able to sync that calendar with your phone calendar. That would be that needs to happen. That absolutely needs to happen. And I was thinking that I don't want to give all my thoughts on the app yet, and plus I'll have more thoughts after I actually use the damn thing. Because I'm really excited about that. The immediate thing that came to my mind is, how people are going to find out about directs? Ding on their phone.
Yeah.
It's literally how it's going to happen now.
Directs, I would presume pre-order information.
And I like how they confirmed. I was worried for a brief moment when Miyamoto did the direct to you, because they haven't done this in forever. They haven't done the actual direct. I was like, oh no, are they about to announce it? This is the end of directs. Like
I thought they might for a second.
I thought for a second, I was like, oh no, please don't say you're getting rid of directs, or maybe you're going to replace it with something better. But I'm like, well, why would you get rid of something that everyone knows and loves? Or then he's like, no, we're actually just launching an app, and you'll be able to find out news this way too. So that's cool. We got some super chats we got to get to here. Thank you guys so much for the support. We got Gabriel Canada saying Fire Emblem F-Zero Kid Icarus for Switch 2 now. Well, I always felt like if there was a brand new Fire Emblem in the vein of Three Houses, that was always going to be Switch 2. Felt like that was always targeting Switch 2. If there's a new in any of these, F-Zero or Kid Icarus, I feel like any new, because if you look at today, ZA and Metroid Prime 4 were announcements from last year. And then we got Tamagotchi Life, which was a remaster of an old like 3DS game. So I feel like, okay, that's the kind of stuff you can expect from Nintendo's remakes and remasters, and then the two games they already announced. They didn't make a bunch of exciting announcements today, road mapping next year and this year. They did roadmap next year and this year, and it's pretty sparse. That's what they're telling you right now. Switch 1 is going to be very sparse. You're going to have Metroid Prime 4 and ZA this year, and then you ain't getting nothing from us until Tamagotchi Life, and that might be the swan song for us. Now, we say that Gen 10 Pokemon could potentially still be on Switch 1 next year. We'll see on that. We know in the Terra leak, it suggested it might be on both platforms.
It would be smart.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, if there's new games in any of those IPs next gen, even the remakes and remasters, I don't know. They still might go next gen. This direct, if this is what they had for a general direct for Switch 1, they don't have anything else. That's my takeaway. But we'll get to that tonight, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my mind will change and I'll be convinced by something later today. We had a $20 super check coming from Mason Ripton. Said, extremely disappointed by this show. Don't care for Farm Simulator 1,300 every direct. Guys, there'll be a Farm Simulator probably next week, Wednesday. It happens every time.
Always.
And see, and if they keep Wind Waker and TLP, I think meant Twilight Princess, on GameCube online, that will be crap, and I'm getting more worried that that's what they'll do and not give us physical copies in HD. Yeah, we don't obviously know what's going on with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Obviously, it's been rumored to be finished for a long time. Also, pretty fairly easy ports. The only thing I can think of is they're thinking, hey, we're going to drop them next year for Zelda's 40th.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a possibility. Or maybe that's their swan song is, hey, we finally give people these games. Or they decided, you know what, we're going to forego and just put them in 4K because we already HD'd them once.
Which would be cool.
Or maybe they don't care because they decided we're remaking Ocarina of Time and we're going with a different plan.
Which would be better.
That would be significantly. Although I will say again, Wind Waker, we gotta get that on a platform that people actually own.
I agree. And look, I love the game. I love both of them very much. But if I had to sacrifice getting those re-released for Ocarina of Time remake, I'd do it 100% of the time.
Yeah, I do it too, but that's because I've also played those other games and I played them in HD. I try to think of other people that like Wind Waker might be a new game for them.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
Ocarina of Time has had several releases and it's on NSO.
Yeah.
Now, this also could point to maybe they're not doing it because of NSO. Maybe GameCube NSO is coming.
Exactly. There's a lot of angles here. There's
Yeah.
a lot of different ways we can look at this and speculate on as we lead into April 2nd, because there's a lot of moves made today that definitely speak to whatever's going to happen on the 2nd. And again, yeah, they might not give us certain games because they want you to sign up for NSO. But then you have to ask the question, if you have a better version of the game, why would you force us, I guess, to play a lesser version? Like if you have the HD games, the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, obviously they do. It was on Wii U. Why would you ask us to go play a lesser version of it? I don't think that makes sense. So again, the multiple angles here. What they'll do, anyone's guess.
Joe Taka wants to point out the golf game is a Sony published game. That is correct. It's interesting to have Sony publishing more games. Again, these aren't their big IPs.
Good call out.
But yeah, I think there was 2 Sony published games, I believe, in the Direct that I have to go back and look. Again, smaller games. These are not the big games people think of Sony with.
Well, it is everybody's golf, right? I mean, it's the only way it can be for everybody is if it comes out this way.
For everybody, if you only keep it on PlayStation, right? Another super chat just came in from Andrew Francis saying Metroid Prime 4 box art, Nintendo today, YouTube thumbnail, Mario Kart Tour. Wait, what?
I see it. Nintendo just posted on Twitter. It's the key art for it. I haven't seen the box. Oh, here's the box art. Yeah, Nintendo just posted that too.
All right, let me go. Yeah, see, this is what happens when I'm live is you miss out some of the news that's happened since. This is why I have to still make a video later today because there's news. Nintendo. Let's see here. I'll show you guys here in a second.
I keep refreshing the App Store. No Nintendo today yet. I'm sure it'll be Nintendo later today.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Let me share this Nintendo, and we'll hide the message here. So there's your box art. Looks good.
Looks good. Yeah.
Looks good. And we'll be talking about this purple hand stuff tonight. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And of course the red suit.
Yeah, that looks cool.
But yeah, I mean that's some awesome box art. And then there was a key art here as well. Which is basically the box art but expanded. Looks pretty badass. Those stone statues, we'll talk about that tonight because it seems to be a big part of the game.
I'm sure Andres will have a video going out
today.
He'll
have an analysis of the whole damn trailer, I'm sure, today.
And of this key art, I'm betting, because I'm just looking at the detail of the key art, and there's some things definitely you can point out.
Yeah.
Like if I was looking at a picture from Mars of like from the NASA rover or something, I'd be looking at it in like super fine detail. I would bet that's what Andres is going to do, because you can pick out some interesting things in this background.
And then we got some screenshots here. I'm just kind of going through some things that might have got announced since. There's the information on the Smart app, release dates, Tamagotchi Life. Yeah. And again, there'll be more stuff coming out throughout the day, guys. So I'm gonna give it. I'll probably take my lunch at some point here in the next hour, and then I'll come back after, and I bet you I'll have a treasure trove of stuff Plus the fact that hey, I still got to make the video on the Switch 2 pre-order, so that's a whole thing.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, Tall Show said he's downloading the app right now. Yep,
Okay.
it's up.
It's up.
I'm downloading it too.
Let's go get it right now then. Hold on.
Thank you, Tall Show.
Nintendo Today, right? That's what they called it.
Yeah.
Nintendo Today. Give me that app, baby. Get it. Give me my app, baby. Okay. It's downloading. Look at the YouTube thumbnail for Nintendo Today. Look at the thumbnail for it. Okay, let me go to Nintendo's YouTube channel. Was there something special about the thumbnail? Videos here. Let's see. What am I? Here I'll share this. I don't know what's this. What is there something special about this thumbnail? I see February 1st. Are you trying to like insinuate a date or something?
Is that the date says February 1st on the app?
Yeah, it says that in this thumbnail over here.
Yeah.
I don't really know. What am I supposed to notice something? I mean, I can't even see what that is down there. It's a little too blurry. Is that announcing something down there? I don't know. I have no idea. Look at the game. Yeah, I can't see the game. There's a way I can do this. I can look at just the thumbnail. Hold on. There's a little trick on YouTube to get just the thumbnails from videos. So let me do this and see if there's anything special about it, because it's just too small and blurry for me to see. But I can get the full size thumbnail.
You can download that, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Here we go. Wait, what? That's why people are talking about Tour. Hold on. That's why they're talking about Tour. Mario Kart Tour Winter Tour, 10 p.m. on 2/1/20XX.
Oh, what?
They were done with Mario Kart Tour.
Yeah, pretty sure we have.
That's what they said. They said they were done with the game. So they're gonna bring it back. Well, I think on phones it makes sense not to release a new Mario Kart app. Because I always felt like they would have something on mobile to tie into the new Mario Kart.
Huh.
I mean, it's also possible this is just a fake made up thing and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, if that's all, they went with the phone app, their most popular phone app, because it's a phone app. Like a fake example, yeah. Exactly what it could be. Or it is teasing that Tour is going to be coming back this winter, to tie in with the new Mario Kart game. It could be that too. It's not like we know. You know what? I tell you, the Nintendo News app, Nintendo Today, maybe it'll give us an update. Cool. Let's grab a couple questions from the chat, and then we'll head on out of here, because we got stuff to do today. We got a podcast tonight. Gotta get the notes done for that. Got to download trailers and get what we want to show. We got to discuss a little bit about what we're gonna have for tonight. Let's see here. Nintendo Today. A lot of people say Nintendo Today. You guys are obviously downloading that app right now. Some people are checking it out. And also how we should have a head up from this direct until the next. I don't know what that's referencing. Nintendo and their dang farm simulator fetish. I don't think it's a fetish. I legitimately think farm simulators sell very well on Switch.
They do. Cozy games in general.
Cozy games has a huge genre.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally it's a genre now.
Yep. Andy Ortman, what an interesting one. Thank God Nintendo Prime always delivers. I don't need a Nintendo app. Nintendo Prime is more reliable than Nintendo Directs. I don't know about that.
What's his name? Andy Ortman?
Yeah, Andy Ortman.
Like Randy Orton?
It reminds me of Randy Orton.
Yeah.
But why Tour? Why in the thumbnail? Clickbait? Placeholders happen all the time. It's kind of like if you ever set up a website on with a web that has like a web page builder, you'll see the lorem ipsum blah blah blah. It's the same text that everyone uses when you're setting up pre-made websites. So it could just be one of those things that needed a placeholder, or it could mean something. Obviously, we could talk about that a little bit deeper tonight, but might get talked about more deeper next week. To be honest, if something happens with Mario Kart in the direct that makes us think about tour, so we'll see. Right now, it's just speculation that it means something. It is official. It is in the thumbnail, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we get a news update later today on our phone, and it's really the tour. So maybe there's news. Who knows? Velociraptor said, "Did Prime 4 look exciting to me?" I don't want to dive too deep into it because this is be one of our big topics tonight is Prime 4, but I do think that it looked pretty good. And as we clarified earlier, it definitely felt like the reveal trailer that might have been Switch 2, and this is what it looks like on Switch 1 because it does look downgraded. But also, there's a lot of things going on, and I want to say this: I feel like they could have maybe made it look as good as the reveal trailer on Switch 1, but they're emphasizing 60 FPS.
I do too.
Yeah, so they downgraded the visuals to make sure they maintain the 60 FPS for gameplay, which I think is important. So. I liked what I saw. Obviously, it was just more of a tease, but we learned the planet name, at least one of the planets, and maybe she's on multiple. We don't know. We learned the planet name. We learned some abilities. We learned a little bit of the story, not a ton, but enough of it. They teased some things. Showed a boss fight like that. We'll have to analyze that. So
yeah,
it looks good. The only thing I will say right now is my initial gut feeling is it looks like a Prime game. Smells like a Prime game. It's not giving me a Breath of the Wild moment yet. So I still think the appeal of it's going to be very small. But that could all change next week. They could be saving the big surprise for next week for Prime 4. That's going to blow. Because right now my mind's not blown. It just looks like more Metroid Prime. Which, by the way, phenomenal. Fucking love Metroid Prime. I'm just saying that, like, for everyone that wants Metroid to hit the next level, I'm not seeing it yet. Not yet.
No, I'm not either. But I think there's a reason why this was scheduled here on March 27th with the main event being on April 2nd. I think there's a reason they were scheduled most likely so close together. And we're probably they want that Metroid footage to be fresh in your mind for April 2nd.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see it again.
So they blow you away with how much better it is on Switch 2, but still can point to, hey, we kept our Switch 1 promise in 2017. It's coming to Switch.
Yeah.
It's there.
Which is great. Everybody wins here.
Yeah.
Win-win for Switch 1 and for everyone buying a Switch 2. We all win. You always want win-win scenarios in life, so this is a good thing.
Absolutely. Tall Show says, will you lick the cartridge to see if it tastes like a Prime game? I will probably lick the cartridge on live stream. I did it last time. Why not? I didn't believe the hype that it tasted disgusting. It tasted disgusting. So I'm sure they probably did the same thing. We had a member chat. Why is the member chat popping up over here? Well, I'll just read the member chat. The whole chat looks like it died on my... No, wait. No, maybe it's working again. I don't know. This thing is acting weird. Okay, well, the member chat was from Kitsune. Said the app is online in Belgium. So letting people know it is now up in Belgium for people that live there. I think that's going to do it here for this because we got to save a lot of our thoughts for tonight. Should have Gamebird and Eric on. If one of them has to be replaced, it's okay. We'll find a replacement. That being said, be sure to tune into the Nintendo by Podcast tonight season 2, episode 11, bonus episode. When you end this direct, when we end this show, it's going to just boot you there anyways. So just set your notifications, get ready. We'll see you again tonight. And I'll see you guys later in a video. So,
yeah. Bye. See you tonight.